on how we're changing lives. And these aren't small ways. I mean, this is big stuff. I mean, this isn't soap and lotions and potions, or, you know, it's not teaching U.S. history to seventh graders, which you could say is important, and it is. This is a big deal. This is putting kids through college. This is saving families from financial ruin when a loved one dies. I mean, this is big stuff. So we're going to share some of those stories with you so you can keep the passion and the emotion around what we do. And then lastly, we want to challenge you. We're going to challenge you to grow. We're going to challenge you to get better. You do not work for your regional vice president. You do not work for me. You don't work for Primerica. You work for you and your family. And sometimes we need to get kicked in the pants a little bit. We need to get, kind of realize what we got our hands on. A coach is not a coach unless they take you someplace you can't take yourself. So we're going to challenge you a little bit. We're going to turn the heat up a little bit as far as what could be some expectations. Where should you be in the business so you can kind of gauge what that is. So a combination of all those are happening, and it's going to happen a little bit here, a little bit there, kind of the flow. But I don't want to start off in an event like this with you possibly sitting around next to some strangers. This is an extended family to me. So I want to take 60 seconds and just have you get up and introduce yourself to somebody you have no idea who they are. And why don't you tell them some stupid snowed-in story, okay? So get up, meet somebody. What's a snow story? All right, go ahead and have a seat. I also want to give something out to whoever has traveled the farthest today. Go ahead and have a seat. All right, I need nominees for who's traveled the farthest this morning to this office. I've got Richmond for sure. Has anybody traveled farther than Richmond? You go, well, where's the Finch man? Where's he at? Goshen. We got some people from Goshen today. Well, they must have stepped out. Where? There he is. Is anybody beaten coming all the way from Goshen, which is up in the northern part of the state? Anybody got that beat? All right, here you go. Pass that back. Good job, buddy. All right, so let's jump into our program. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to show you a video that they showed us down in Atlanta of a recap of 2013. Some of you have just started in the last week or a couple months, and you might not have any feel, and there'd be no reason for you to have any feel, of the momentum we have as a company. So we're going to show you this video on what's happened just in the last year at Primerica, and then we'll jump back into our live training.
2013 saw Primerica come into its own as we celebrated our third year as an independent public company. The field force continued to take advantage of more wealth-building opportunities than ever before. With more than 3,000 owners, Primerica has an ongoing commitment to create a record number of financially independent families. We launched the 2014 Builders Compensation Program, the greatest compensation system ever designed for any business, anywhere. Who else has these 3 ways to build wealth? Only Primerica does. The year started off with Best's Review naming Primerica among its top 10 innovators for our Term Now product. In 2013, Primerica crossed the $15 billion mark in total claims paid in our company's history. That's $15 billion helping families. In May, we were joined by the Governor of Georgia, local dignitaries, prominent community leaders, employees, and Primerica field leaders to celebrate the opening of our new international headquarters, located at #1 Primerica Parkway. The 365,000 square foot facility positions us for continued growth and excellence as the largest financial services marketing organization in North America. Our new building features the 500-seat Art and Angela Williams Theater, a one-of-a-kind facility housing PFN TV and Builder School meeting space. The theater features a 39-foot movie screen, a massive sound system, and cutting-edge media. Imagine a new interactive tour showcasing our headquarters tells the company's rich and colorful history while recognizing you, our sales force. Thousands have taken the tour. The Georgia Dome is the gathering place for the 2013 Primerica Convention, featuring company founder and keynote speaker Art Williams. Recognition is a big part of this event, with more than 1,600 awards celebrating success. From workshops to new videos to new technology, the convention experience has a huge effect on your Primerica business. Get ready for Convention 2015. Constantly focused on helping you stay mobile, we release key updates to the popular Primerica app that sync effortlessly with our enhanced Web Turbo apps, Web FNA, and other POL features. They're all accessible for most internet-ready devices anytime, anywhere. It's all about helping you do what you do best, helping families while building your business. Primerica is growing. We're breaking records. In fact, 2,341 personal RVP records, 32 state and provincial records, and 5 company records were broken in 2013. Primerica Canada achieved an important milestone when it eclipsed 10,000 records in use and continued its strong tradition of growth. At Primerica, you have the opportunity to beat your best and move ahead. And move ahead is what top leaders do. Primerica leaders Neil and Victoria Gerfine achieved $1 million earner status. Congratulations to Peggy and Eric Hightower, who achieved the level of Senior National Sales Director. Peggy was the first female African-American promoted to SNSD. Primerica Shareholder Services won its 11th Dalbar Award for Outstanding Customer Service. Primerica Advisors Freedom Portfolios now has $1 billion in assets. The fixed indexed annuity continued its success as the most successful product launch in the history of Lincoln Financial. PFSL Investments was named the #1 mutual fund dealer for the 13th year in a row in Canada and was ranked as the largest sales force. Chateau Lalanne was the site of the 7th annual Millionaires in Training meeting, where new RVPs were top field builders traveled to the luxurious Boca Raton Resort and Club, and securities producers competed for coveted spots at the Breakers. In May, it was time to say aloha as the competition began for Hawaii. It's time to get big and write your name this year on America's record book. We are Primerica.
I mean, they showed that to us down in Atlanta. We lived it, but it was like when you have a recap like that, it's like, that's a pretty damn good year.
Yeah.
I mean, any one of those things you could celebrate. And that's how they had to go so fast. Irma was in there. Did you see Irma? But that's in the record books. I mean, that was a good year. It was a great year. But now we're moving on. So let's start talking about 2014. And one of the things that this company lives is constant and never-ending improvement. That's the mentality. Show up and get better. I want to challenge you to have that mindset yourself. I mean, as adults, we tend to coast once we get out of school. I mean, the statistics of how few people that after they get out of high school or college read a book is just staggering. You've got to be a self-improvement freak if you're going to be successful in this business because you're in the people attraction business. So if you're not getting better, you're not staying the same. There's no coasting in personal development. You're either getting better or you're getting worse. So the company is constantly getting better, and they're a great example of how to do that. So let me take you through. I'm going to take about 20, 30 minutes here, and I want to take you through some of the information they gave us down in Atlanta and some of the announcements of future products and so on. Chase, are we ready with that? Not a prediction. Oh, wow. My VCR is still flashing 12 o'clock. Yes, I have a VCR. Okay, so some of the young people, what's a VCR? Anybody still got an 8-track? I do not have an 8-track. Nice. Okay. All right. Okay, so again, imagine a room of about 250 people, 300 people down in Atlanta. This is the CEO and the president giving us all the information. So I'm just having it flow through me to you. I'm not going through all 90 slides. I've got it down to some of the just meat and potatoes. So we're perfectly positioned to have a phenomenal year. And just to give you an idea of what's going on, we have the highest payout on our life insurance ever. It's 190 points that gets paid out when a life app's done. And if you look at the cash flow to RVPs, it was $220 million just last year. It's up $2.7 million in life cash. In total cash, it's $413 million, up $27 million. The total field comp was $534 million. I don't know how many companies are paying out $534 million to their sales force. Probably very few, but that's phenomenal. When you pass over 50,000 a year here, you get watches. When you pass over 100,000 a year, you get rings. When you pass over 200, 300, 400,000, you get diamonds. That's what that is. Record-breaking things going on. And what the company's focus is to get us to where they're paying $1 billion with a B to the sales force. That was the first thing the company is saying is our number one priority is to pay out more money to the field. Now, let me contrast that. And I don't know this to be true. I trust the guy that said it, but I haven't done the personal research. But Ivan Earl, how many of you know Ivan? Or at least from, Ivan's $1 million earner out of Carolina. Ivan has been in the business 30-some years, and he shared a story that happened to him in the last month, and that he met a State Farm agent who had been a State Farm agent for 24 years and still is a State Farm agent. And they started talking, and neither one of them knew what they did. So Ivan didn't know this guy was a 24-year State Farm rep, and he didn't know that Ivan was $1 million earner for America. They started talking, nice conversation. Then it got to, so what do you do? And what was interesting, Ivan said, is the conversation didn't get awkward like it usually did. Like, okay, let's get the boxing gloves out. You're screwing people, that kind of stuff, like we would say to them. Here's what the State Farm agent said. Ivan says, the guy lowered his voice and said, you guys were right. Art was right. Buy term and invest the difference is the right thing to do. Art was right. Now, Ivan is like, I've never heard a cash value agent say that. And he said, Art was not only right about that, but you guys were right on how you built your business. He goes, I've studied you guys. You're right on how you built your business. He said, you would not want to be a State Farm agent right now. And I goes, what do you mean? He goes, they just sent a contract out to all the State Farm agents and brokers that the company is taking back everything. The statement was, we own everything. We own the phones. We own the furniture. We're taking back the value of the business. You're all now employees. Boom, just like that. Okay, so I haven't verified that, and I haven't pushed on. I said, you heard that's coming? He goes, no, I've seen the contract, and it happened to me. So now I was trying to recruit him as well. But my point is, very few companies. So our managers are saying, our leaders are saying, how can we pay you more money?
Right.
State Farm and all these others are like, how can we give you higher quotas? How can we cut your territories, whatever it happens to be? See, we are joined at the hip. The only distribution channel for Primerica products are Primerica reps. We don't run an end reverse around the reps and go with internet or 800 numbers. We're it. So the value of our business is the people, and the company knows that. So if cash flow, John Addison, the co-CEO, likes to say, the most important nerve in your body is the one that goes from your billfold to your brain. Okay? If we can drive cash flows up for our leaders, then the company's going to be fine. If you look at those that crossed over the watch or crossed over the ring, incomes are absolutely exploding. 138 more people got the watch. Andre Hope was one of those. Give Andre a hand. 74 more people are making 100 grand. I mean, I don't know if there's how many companies even have 74 people making 100 grand. That's just this year that we added. And then diamond levels. I've gotten very fond of this program. This is our stock program. Ever since we got going in the stock when we went public, there have been 2,850 of us that have been given stock grants. And if you go with the about $42 value of PRI right now, that's $85 million that has been given. We didn't buy it. It's been given to us by the company for just doing what we should be doing anyway, which is building our business. This last quarter, just to blow your socks away, this last quarter, Leo and Nicole Galanis, who are dear friends of mine up in Canada, they got 62,000 in stock last quarter, just for 90 days. They promoted 4 RVPs. You get massive stock for doing that. Cube this last year got just shy of 500,000 in stock, just on top of everything else. If you want to get stone cold wealthy, you can't be in a better company, because you not only have the cash flow that you earn, but you're given stock, and then, oh, by the way, you own the business. Our ownership program is unlike anything in the industry. I've studied. I don't know of any other company that allows someone like me to build a business, and then when you hit certain marks, you outright own it. It's a willable, saleable asset. So for Lori and I, we have full ownership. You get that when you make $300,000 a year, and that means if I died, it goes to Lori. If we both die, it goes to our children for as long as Primerica is in existence. I'm so excited for all of your relatives that you like, because we're here for a flicker, right? We're a vapor, right? But while you're here, you can build something that could be feeding your family's finances and building a fortress around them for 100 years. So there's 2,337 people in the company that have some form of ownership. So cash flow, equity ownership, the main focus of the company is help make the field leaders financially independent and bulletproof. That's their main play. So let's look at some of the things we're improving. Andre is going to be talking in more detail about this a little bit later, but this right here is a big deal. It's called the Fast Start Bonus. We announced it last month. It is a huge deal, and I want to explain it to you from my take, but Andre is going to go into more detail later. Let me kind of set up a dynamic for you. I've been doing this 21 years. There is an interesting dynamic when a brand new person is recruited. And if it's not handled properly, it could just blow everybody's business up. You're saying, what are you talking about? Well, let me just go back to my personal experience. When I started, I knew that I didn't know anything about financial services. I was a history teacher, football coach, wrestling coach, assistant coach. I knew I didn't know anything about finances. But I did have a lot of credibility with people, and I wanted to learn a new career. So here's what Chris Koob, who trained me, said to me: Kent, what you bring to the table is your market and your skills. What I bring to the table is the company, the products, the experience, the training. Which of those do you think is more valuable? And I said, well, I don't know. He said, well, to be honest with you, there's about 2 million people in Indianapolis that can bring to the table what you bring to the table. Okay? Your market and your skills. There's only a few of us in the city that can bring to the table what I can bring to the table, meaning him, the licenses, the training, and so on. He said, but if we work together, we can both win. I said, what are you talking about? He goes, get people in front of me or get me in front of people, and I will help you build a team. And that made all kinds of sense to me. I'm like, okay, great. Because if I win, he wins. If I make $100,000, he's making like $50,000 a year just overriding. So I didn't have that many barriers. I was getting people in front of. But see, for some reason, there's a lot of adults that have either been ripped off or lied to, or parents didn't love them just right. I don't know. But they're like this when they come in. They don't want us to call people for them. They don't want us to interview people for them. They don't want us to take them in the field. And it's not Primerica. It's that they just don't know what's going on. So this system of the Fast Start Bonus helps to kind of get all this out on the table. So let me explain it to you. Here's how this works. Your first name again, I'm sorry. Jason? Okay, so Jason recruits me. What's going to happen is from the IBA date, from the day I do my independent business application, send in my 99 and my 25, from that day, I've got 30 days to hit these criteria. If I do that, I get the Fast Start Bonus. So what are the criteria? 3 recruits to me, watch 3 life sales that are in part of a financial needs analysis process, and get my life license. Those are the 3 things. If you could get everybody on your team in 30 days, 3 recruits, watch 3 clients being helped in 3 life sales, and get licensed, would you be doing backflips? That's the system that we want on the front end. So what does Jason get out of that as my trainer? Well, he writes 3 life sales. He helps get 3 recruits for me. So if I am not as talented as I think I am, he's got other people to work with, but he also can help build me up. And he gets somebody like me licensed and partially trained, so now I can start training people. What do I get as the new person? I get trained, people I care about get helped, and I get a $300 bonus. So this is going to, those of you that position this correctly, if you have 1 or 2 or 3 people you bring on board and then you just help them get that done, you're going to be busier than, what do they say, a one-armed paper hanger? Okay? Never understood that. But anyway, right? Now, one-legged paper hanger, that'd be busy. Okay? So the trust factor at that first week is critical. You take somebody like Cliff. Cliff's been writing 3, 4, 5 apps, it seems like a week. He starts recruiting people and teaching people what he knows. That's huge value for them. So again, Andre's going to talk about that more later. And you have a little bit longer to get your license. You don't have to get your license in 30 days. But we want to have the mindset. We want people to get to. By the way, Ann, it's Ann, right?
Yeah.
Just passed her, was it yesterday?
Yeah.
Just passed her test yesterday. So she gets to retire to him. Is there anybody else that passed the test that hasn't got the pin yet? I hate to miss anybody. Okay. All right. So you get this system going. So this whole front end, it drives field training and licensing simultaneously. It improves recruiting retention because everything's going in licensing ratio, and it increases overall production. So this is one of the bombshell announcements. It's the fast start bonus. Now, I know some of the RVPs are adding things to that, too, like the lapel pin to get licensed or your certificate or promotion. There's a lot of reasons to get that done. Another bombshell they announced, now this is not only for the regional vice presidents to understand, but it's for those of you that want to get to regional vice president, is that there's now a 20% bonus on your base shop when you do 20 by 20. That's a big deal. We have something in our company called QBI, Quality Business Index. Everything you write and everything you do is being tracked even now. So your ratios you're building. So, for instance, the company average on QBI is 70%. I'm not going to go into the form. It's pretty complicated. But if you're doing a $20,000 base, let's say it's a 70% QBI, you take 20,000 times 70%, which is 14,000. And then 20% of that, which is $2,800. So you're running a 20 by 20. You're getting a bonus every month of $2,800. That's on top of it. So we want every RVP to build to where they get to 20 and 20. Now you might say, now what's the magic of 20 and 20? Why is the company pushing that? Well, the company knows the numbers. They've studied the numbers. They know that if a base shop, which is the term we use for an RVP's team, called a base shop, if that team's doing 20 by 20, it is extremely likely that there's going to be a new RVP promoted out of it. And that's what the company wants to do. We want to promote more regional vice presidents. If you're doing less than 20 and 20, it's very difficult to promote somebody out of there because they're not doing enough. So this drives the front end, and this drives regional vice president promotions. All right. Let's also look at some of our company behind the scenes. When we went public, a firm called Warburg Pincus was our anchor investor. Some of you remember that story. They spent $10 million on due diligence for a year on our company. They had private detectives following our CEOs and presidents to see if they were living a clean lifestyle. And after studying us for a year and all that, they said, we're putting in $100 million. So they put in $100 million, and then a couple months later, they said, we're going to put in another $150 million. So they put in $250 million, and they got a certain percentage of the company. It's an equity firm, private equity firm. Well, they got in at 12 with $250 million, and they cashed out at 40. Okay, that's what equity firms are supposed to do. But the great news is they are no longer a massive controlling figure in our company. Okay, they made their money. They helped us out. High five. See you later. Citi Group, our parent company, is no longer a major shareholder in our company. We wanted them out. Okay? No person or no company owns more than 10% of PRI. So we don't have, some of you, I'm losing some of you. Those of you that know company, you don't want somebody owning 30% of your company. Okay? So the point is, we've gone through that first 3 years. We now are owned by people like me and you if you have stock and so on. And this has been a tough environment this last 3-4 years in the financial services. But our stock, and I'm not here to tout the stock. I'm not here to tell you to buy the stock. That's not compliant. That's not the point. I'm just showing you the strength of the company. Okay, any company during the recession can actually do an IPO in financial services and come out at 12, pre, and then 15 when it hit the street, and be at 42. It's got to catch your attention. Our company now is in a position where there's no other company like our company. I'm going to share with you some information in a minute, but this is our latest brochure. A lot of you like the latest, newest brochures. This is the most up-to-date brochure that kind of gives the stats of our company and how solid we are and so on. So whenever the company comes out with this, I usually order 100 or 150, and this is what I start giving to people when they come to the office. You don't have to do that. I don't know, they're a couple pennies each. But just want you to know that we're having a much more aggressive conversation. It's not like Primerica is nice. There is no other company like Primerica. I mean, I do most of the interviews in the office. I have most of the people come through, and I have to be very patient, because when someone's sitting there that's, I used to say that they think blank smells, but I can't say it. They think they got something going on. They got their little business, and they're like, well, I don't know about this Primerica thing. It's everything in me not to body slam their ass. But where they're coming from and the information they have, they don't know. They need information, okay? So for those of you that would like to help people understand, you need to get some of these resources. But even better than this, we have access now to real-time articles that I think Todd and Sandra will go over a little bit that are going to help you. So many of you have not reflected on the meaning of our logo. I haven't talked about it in a while, but it means the three intertwining constituencies, if you will. They all got to win. It's the client, it's the company, and it's the sales force. So there's been $535 million paid out to the sales force. We're winning. The company made $255 million in profit, and that's, I mean, their operating income before taxes is $255, and we paid $1 billion in death claims just last year. And by the way, not to bring a downer in, but I just learned this morning that Jeff Frank passed away over the holidays. Those of you who know Jeff on Effie's team, he had struggled with many different things for a long time, and I just found about that this morning, but our prayers are for his family. But everything is, I mean, when you have cylinders that are all clicking, push the gas pedal, okay? You don't need a tune-up right now. You don't need to change the oil. You don't need to put air in the tires, okay? This thing is rocking. We all need to push the gas pedal. And many of you might not know the name Terry Bradshaw. He's a former quarterback for the Pittsburgh Steelers. He's a sports commentator now. And he actually, along with CNN and some other, Fox and so on, have started a new television show. It's called Net Worth. And they profile successful people and successful companies. And they end up airing these. This has not aired on TV yet. It's going to be aired in late January. And it's going to be aired through Fox and CNN. And they're projecting 500 million views because they're going to send it out through YouTube and so on. And this is a third-party examination of our company. They said, we've heard about your company. We want to come in and feature your company in one of our first shows. So we're like, you know, do we let them in or not? We're like, hey, we don't have anything to hide. Come on in. So this is about a 6 or 7 minute video that you're the first ones in Indiana to see it. We are actually going to start showing this at the beginning of our overview so people can understand it. But again, this is third party. Our company didn't produce this. And this is going to be aired across the country in a few weeks. So let's go to the video.
Ever since childhood, we've been taught that the pursuit of happiness is the chase of a lifetime. I'm Terry Bradshaw, and I've learned that true success is not so much about what you achieve, but how you achieve it. Join me as we span the globe, meeting the people working hard to attain their own net worth. of business and personal success is sound ethical financial practice. Let's take a look. In communities across North America, many middle-income families are facing similar struggles. A recent survey by the Consumer Federation of America revealed that people have made too many bad financial decisions. Simply put, most consumers have too much debt, not enough savings, and a lack of proper life insurance protection.
I mean, people spend, thousands of dollars on car insurance because the state tells them they have to. And when it comes to life insurance, it's not required. But I'm sure most people think that their life is a lot more important than a car. So I think it's just so important to realize, how important life insurance is. And it's just a small price to pay for peace of mind to protect your family and the ones that you love.
There has never been a greater need for Primerica. While the traditional insurance and investment companies tend to focus on Wall Street's wealthy, Primerica helps Main Street families, middle-income people who deserve the chance to become financially independent.
When I sat down with my representative, number one, I had the one-on-one, and it wasn't just I was in some giant group. I wasn't just some number. My representative is a family guy himself. He understands what it's like to have kids and how finances are important, but you don't want to make them your whole focus in life.
Primerica serves middle-income families by providing the right concepts and products and, most importantly, a sound financial education. By teaching its clients how money works, Primerica shows people how to save money and take control of their financial future.
When I was 18 years old, I took out 5 credit cards. I had no idea how compound interest worked. Until I learned the Rule of 72 and how it works against you, I couldn't understand why I'd make a payment and my balance was still going up. And I think there are so many people across North America like that. In a time when financially people have never struggled more, debt loads across North America are at record highs, the U.S. and Canada. People are carrying so much debt with incomes that aren't rising. It's more important than ever to teach them how money works.
Primerica helps Main Street families get on the road to financial independence by starting with a customized financial needs analysis. This personal written financial roadmap shows consumers a path toward overcoming the most common financial challenges facing them today.
Primerica is helping people deal with their biggest financial challenges: too much debt, not enough income, and no financial game plan.
Primerica is a Main Street company for Main Street, North America. As the largest independent financial services marketing company in North America, the company is uniquely positioned to help people from all walks of life.
Well, we've been in this business a long time, over 37 years, and what we find is that today the need for what we do, the need for solutions to financial challenges on Main Street is greater than it's ever been. Families are underprotected like never before. Families are in deeper debt like never before. Families have less saved than they ever have. And what they need is someone who can come in, sit at their kitchen table, and help them identify those issues and put together a game plan to provide solutions for their families.
Primerica's comprehensive approach to systematic investing, freedom from debt, and proper protection helps families experience financial success.
At Primerica, all across North America, every day, one of our representatives is sitting with a family. We show them a better way to spend their money, a better way to save their money, a better way to protect their family, to put them on a path to a better financial future.
Primerica helps Main Street families change their lives by teaching them fundamental financial principles that aren't taught in school.
Okay, now you like that? Yeah. It's a third-party company coming in, so we're going to start showing that in our op meetings. But when that airs across the country, again, I'm not expecting people to knock down this door and call us. Some will. Okay, when we used to put full-page ads in the back of USA Today. We do it like every couple of years, and I get phone calls. People say, "Hey, I saw about your company." That's not the reason we're going to do that. There's 2 reasons we want to get that out. The first is the confidence that it gives the field. I mean, I like it when I can say, "Hey, did you see the show on us that aired on Fox?" But the other is is, again, back to my earlier point, it's ammunition against Uncle Harry, okay? The guy that can't rub two nickels together that thinks he knows everything, right? So whatever it is, the company is going to put, now, people have come to me for 20-some years. We need to advertise. We need to advertise. We need to advertise. Geico spends $600 million a year on advertising. How many of you, raise your hand if you've seen a Geico commercial? Raise your hand if you've seen over 100 Geico commercials. Keep your hand up if you've called Geico. Doesn't work. It doesn't. They get like a percentage of 1% people calling in, but that's their plan. What our company does, it takes $535 million and they pay us to go talk to people. We're the advertising. So don't come and say, I want the company to spend a couple $100 million on everything. Somebody's got to pay for that. The client's got to pay for it. We're the advertiser. But it's nice every now and again to have us featured in the show. By the way, the one gentleman, they showed his name when he was talking, real articulate gentleman, Kyle's Temple. A little tease here. Our next event, which is going to be in April, we're flying him up from Louisiana. He's going to be our keynote speaker. So I didn't have myself. All right, so what we've done is we've taken the information on the life insurance, information on securities, information on the financial needs analysis, information on the technology, all the things we're going to share today, and we've broken it up into different speakers. So you're going to keep getting information from those slides as we go through the day. But right now what we want to do is just pause for a few minutes and celebrate the success of the last couple months with some recognition. I just wanted to start off after that video with the people that are actually out there making it happen. So to kind of MC and take us through this, I've asked RVP John Altman. Johnny, come on up.
I started 14 years ago. I mean, you couldn't find anyone who could even pronounce our name correctly, let alone say good things in a cool video like that. So I'm a kid on this. That, you know, that's not going to build your business, but it's nice when people say nice things about your company and put it on TV. And, oh, by the way, how many of you wrote a check to make that happen? None of us did. The company didn't even have to because it was all third parties. That's just free advertising for your business that you didn't have to pay for. If you were your own business owner, how much would it have cost you to put together that video? I'm thinking about that for a second. And they're going to not only put together, but then advertise it, and you get to use it to help build your business. So I think that's awesome. But I'm excited. We're going to jump in. We don't have a lot of time today to do all the normal recognition we do, but we are going to recognize those people who were promoted in the last 60 days. And like Ken said, I mean, that's a big deal. November, December, holidays, travel, snowpocalypse. I mean, we got a lot going on in the last 60 days here recently. So for people who still got it done and stayed focused and got promoted, we want to make a big deal out of that. So if I could get all the regional vice presidents to come up, we're going to be stacked like double deep up here, which is cool. So you know, as you come get high fives, look for hands over shoulders and stuff like that. So give all the RVPs a hand. Let's start off with the first promotion you can earn, which is the senior rep promotion. It takes like 5 minutes for all the RVPs to get senior rep promotion.
Sure. The Dreampainters proudly permit to senior rep Tamika Shaw. Dreampainters proudly promote to senior rep Tricia Hawkins. Promotion to senior rep Bianca Teamer. Promoted to senior rep Susan Paul. Promoted to senior rep Clara Johnson. Promoted to senior rep Jerry Johnson. If you're here, come on up. Okay, district, 50% contract. Letter. Go ahead, keep walking. Double promoted to district leader, Clara Johnson. Promoted to district leader, Jerry Johnson, no relation. Promoted to district leader, Donald Ratliff. Double promoted to district, Bianca Teamer. Moving up to division, 60% contract. Jerry Johnson, 3 promotions. All right, now regional promotions. 1 step away from regional vice president. The Dreampainters proudly promote to regional leader, Marshall and Jane Akers. Come on, Dreampainters also promote the regional leader, the awesome Jennifer McKay. I do have a little bit more recognition. How many of you in your careers outside of Primerica only get recognized when you screw up? As they're getting settled, I remember when I was a teacher in Brownsburg, that's why I started out. I mean, I was having a fantastic 3 years, you know. That's not the point, but I was doing a great job, okay? They wanted to nominate me for the outstanding teacher in the state my second year. And, you know, undefeated football teams, all that. But I was late 15 minutes one day because it's the day, for some, I don't even remember what the reason. I think there was snow, and so I was late. And the principal came in and just read me the riot act. I mean, I thought I was going to get fired. And then when he was done, you know, he just wanted to make sure he knew who the boss was. Mm-hmm. And I was like, when he left the room, I was like, he's going to get fired within 2 years if he's got those kind of people skills. It only took him 6 months. But, I mean, I was I'd never do that. All right. I don't have plaques and so on, but before we get into some more meat, I did want to talk about the regional vice president team that we're fortunate to have. I mean, we have it gets me emotional because I traveled the country a lot, and I work with a lot of people that are national sales directors, senior national sales directors, and I'm talking to them, and these aren't, you know, in stage conversations. These are over a beer, and you just hear about that their RVPs don't get along, or, you know, egos, or, you know, you're just like, God, we're so blessed to have the group that we have. And I'm not going to recognize all of them, but I just pulled up some numbers, and I just want you to hear some of the positive things going on in some of these teams. Let me just start with Pat Moore. Pat's F&A's, financial needs analysis, over the last 12 months are up 78%. His securities are up 52%. Life licensing up 42%. Makes over $100,000 a year. I mean, he's just on it, okay? And he's building a team. In fact, the only trinket I'm giving out for this, I had this in my desk, and I've had it for a while, and I'm like, I don't know who can I give this to? So just a number one, little help. But, you know, I just felt it was time to recognize Pat. He's been a number one cash flow earner in our team for a couple of years now. So could you give Pat a hand? Pat, come on up. Another individual, this person's cash flows up 35%, securities licensing up 22%, life licensing up 24%, premium up 17%. Those of you that are business owners or no business, you know if they're up 2, 3, 4% in something, they're doing backflips. These are 35, 22, 24, and 17. So just give a hand to Jim and Christy Batu. Securities up 46%, cash flow up 38%, securities up 52%, life licenses up 25%, premium up 40%. I mean, those are some serious jumps, and he had a great year before that. Earned the watch just a few, like a month or so ago, but give Andre and Keena Hogan a couple more here. You know, Alex is out in New York and in Manhattan, and his recruiting's up 92% this year. His cash flow is up 276%. New licenses 231%, and premium up 137%. I mean, he's got it going on out there. So even though he's not personally here, he's watching. Give Alex the knee and a know, my kids going off to college is kind of, you know, a fun thing to have happen. Sarah, our oldest, will be graduating this year from Purdue and going off to wherever she's going to go. And that's all wonderful. But in business, when you have one of your, quote, children go get their own office, okay, it's like, oh, there they go. They're leaving the nest. So we just now, as of a few weeks ago, have an official location and office in Muncie, Indiana. Josh and Kara Matthews. Their cash flow is up 24%. Security's up 43%. Licensing up 39%. They have a bunch of people in Muncie watching this today. So give Muncie a hand. John's business. F&A's up 65%. Securities license up 21, securities up 36, life licenses up 45, really positioned. Cliff Brooks and his team, who you're going to hear from later today, those two, I mean, they're hitting a stride. They're going to do something huge. So give the Altman team a hand. Now, some of you, I know what you're thinking. Some of you that are brand new, you're like, what's with all this recognition? See, everybody wants to be someone. Everybody has a flashing sign on their chest, make me feel special. When's the last time somebody's patted you on the back? See, I'm modeling what I'm hoping a lot of you are doing on your teams too. Whenever you get together, you want to make sure you're recognizing the people that got it going on. I mean, it's important. I mean, it's important. So again, I'm going to keep going. Okay, this next person, recruiting up 49%, licensing up 16%. I don't know of anybody that people go to more to get help. I mean, just does a great job of helping everybody. But Todd Newkirk and Sandra Cassius, give them a hand. Now, this person's always been a great recruiter, but what I'm really excited to see for her is what's happening in the security side of her business. Her life licenses are up 13%, but her securities licenses are up 23%. And because of that, her securities production is up 246%. I mean, this person starts getting securities production going with the recruiting she's doing. She'll make $400,000 this year. So Effie Brockelman, give Effie a hand. Two more, and then we'll. I've got some other quick recognition on production for the year. This individual is watching from Arizona. I flew out there about a month ago. Recruiting's up 56%, securities licensing up 19%, new life licenses up 26%, and premium up 32%. Mitch and Joanne out in Phoenix, give them a hand. And then lastly, I'm up here. This is fun, so don't get mad at me. I'm up here molting because I was in Florida for the last 10 days. I don't feel bad for you. I missed the sun. I missed the snow, so I came back. Anyway. Chase and Sarah, along with expecting their first, which is recruiting up 53%, F&A's up 129%, security's up 74%. Really positioned to do something big this year. So Chase and Sarah. All right. So before we get into the tools that are some tech tools that we're going to show you, we're going to show you the life insurance announcements, the securities announcements. I looked at the whole last year, and who got it done. Now, I only did RVPs and above, so I just want to stoke some competition. I'm stoking some competition in the RVPs right now when I'm doing this. Okay. So when I look at personal production, not your team, not your hierarchy, personally, what are you doing to lead your team? Here's how it breaks out. Let's start with premium. Number 20 is John Altman. Number 19 is Mitch Edelstein. Number 18 is Brandon Gall. Number 17 is Sandra Cassius. Number 16 is Todd Newkirk. Number 15 is Rhonda. Number 14 is Jim Penrod. Number 13 is Belle Craddock. Number 12 is Chelsea Young. Chelsea's interesting. Number 11 is Chase. Now the top 10, Heather Smith is in the top 10. Just had their second child. Number 9 is Ricky Fitch. Number 8 is Sue Broderick. Number 7 is Effie. Number 6 is Steve Wilson. Now the top 5. Number 5, Jim Batu. Number 4, Pat Moore. Number 3, Josh Matthews. Number 2, Alex Denian. And how many number 1s are there? 1. Andre Hope. Personally, number 15, tied for 15, Belle and Heather and Ricky and Sandra, all were tied. At number 11, tied Chelsea Young and Pat Moore. Tied at number 9 is Chase and Steve. Tied at number 6 are Josh, Todd, and Mitch. Tied at number 3 is Jim and Christy Vatu, Andre and Keena Hogue, and Jim Penrod. At number 2 is Effie. And how many number 1s are there? 1. Alex Denian out in New York. 46 personal recruits. Okay, so 3 to 4 a month directs. That's how you build it. Securities. All of you already know who's number 1. Let's build up this. Okay. Number 19, Sandra. Number 18, Rhonda. Number 17, John Mann. Number 16, Brandon Gall. 15, Steve Wilson. 14, John Altman. 13, Chelsea Young. 12, Mitch Edelstein. 11, Heather Smith. Top 10, Ricky Fitch. Number 9, Todd Newkirk. Number 8, Chase Eaton. Number 7, Jim Vatu. Number 6, Andre Hogue. Number 5, Josh Matthews. Number 4, Jim Penrod. Number 3, Alex Denian. Number 2, Lisa Ganaway. Now, number 2, Lisa, did $617,941 last year. Number 1 did $3,021,415. So Pat Moore, give Pat. No, I got a little more recognition out later, but let's get back into the meat of things. Todd and Sandra are going to come up now and take you through some of the tools that they announced down in Atlanta. And I think you're going to get very excited about some of the resources the company's put at our fingertips. So a big hand for Todd and Sandra.
You guys pumped up?
Yeah!
Man, we are so excited about what this year has in store for us. And I want to just kind of help you guys get your mindset right to really dominate in 2014. So we're going to talk a little bit about the crusade. And teammates, our crusade has never been bigger than what it currently is right now. And if you look at just 4 aspects of our business, we're going to talk about the life insurance first. If you look, more than 118 million adults in the U.S. age 18 and above don't have any insurance. That's more than half of the population doesn't have anything. Is there a huge need there? Yeah. Absolutely, right? What about investments? Nearly half of Americans have less than $500 in savings. Now, when I first read this to prepare for this talk, I thought, man, that is a shame. Do you guys understand that most people are one little financial accident away from financial devastation? You guys get that? What if their car broke down? What if they had injuries? Or what if something happened? They don't even have $500 saved. That's a crime. We should all be running out there helping people save money. On the debt side, the average American household has at least one credit card and it's got almost $16,000 in debt. $16,000 in debt. It's only going to get worse, right? See, they don't have a plan to get out of that. And our opportunity, I'm so excited about our opportunity in 2014. More than 2/3 of the U.S. live paycheck to paycheck. I remember when I got recruited about 10 years ago in this business, that was the statistic I heard back then. It hasn't changed in the last 10 years. How are people making ends meet living paycheck to paycheck? You understand what I'm saying? They can't prepare for any of these accidents that may happen. What about the middle income market? Well, let's talk about it. The middle income market's been abandoned. And I'm going to read you guys an article real quick. There was a company called LPL Financial, which a lot of you may be familiar with. What they did last year is they spun off and they created a new startup company called Nestwise. Nestwise's sole purpose was to try to duplicate exactly what Primerica does. Are you catching that? They came into creation to go help the middle income market. Let's see how they did. What happened? It said LPO made a big splash when it established the business in spring of 2012 with the target market of people with less than $250,000 in investments. It sought to reach through the combination of web-based tools, in-office meetings with advisors, and other financial planning through investor education. Sounds a lot like us, right? But it didn't take long for LPL to turn off the lights on its fledgling operation. LPL Financial believes that the financial resources earmarked for NestWise can be more effectively deployed in other areas. Did you guys catch that? They started it, they couldn't make it, and they said, you know what, we need to take these resources and chase another group. You guys with me, right? All right, I love this part. As per NetWise, the numbers, this is what they accomplished in a year of operation. They put together 37 employees. They helped roughly, after spending millions of dollars, helped roughly 120 clients, and all they could manage was $130,000 in assets under management. Are you kidding me? A year in business.
That's Pat Moore's coffee break.
Right. On a bad day, Pat did this the other day. All right, which is sick, but you know that's good. Some of you guys, we got part-timers in our business that employ more than 37 people in a year. Some of you part-timers, your teams are helping more than 120 clients, and they couldn't figure it out. You guys get this? You got your hands on such a great opportunity. Now here's what the CEO says. Esther Stearns, who left her job as President and Chief Operating Officer at LPL Financial to become the CEO of NestWise, wouldn't divulge the actual up-to-date numbers. But she says, and I quote, she's disappointed by NetWise closure and remains committed to trying to find ways to serve the middle-class investor. How are you going to be committed to serve the middle-class investor when you just said we're avoiding that? We're going the other way. You guys with me on this? All right. The challenge of serving the mass market isn't solved, she says. There are a lot of companies that are trying to figure it out. Newsflash. Primerica has figured it out. They've figured it out for 37 years, right? Right? Yeah. I won't say that it couldn't be solved, she says. I just say that it didn't work for LPL, and it's just not the right fit for our current focus. So what do you think that company is diverting back to? We're going to help those that have money because it's more profitable to us. You guys understand that, right? They tried to help the middle market, and they said it didn't work. There's no profit. We're running the other way, which is great for us, right? Yep. So let's talk about the millennials. Do I have anybody in the room like myself that was born between 1980 and 1980 and 2004? Raise your hand if you're millennials. All right, good looking group, right? Sandra doesn't know yet. So.
It's your compliance officer. I have to
Chase and that when we're done. Okay? So for you millennials in the room, there is no plan to help you guys. I love these statistics. Millennials are a huge untapped market that are the future of the financial services. So if you're in this business and you want to build a profitable business, guess what the stats are saying we should probably start talking to? Us millennials, right? I love this one. Millennials gravitate towards the warm market. Though they willingly shun traditional sales tactics. This is what they enjoy. They enjoy internet marketing, word of mouth, referrals, and face-to-face interaction. Last time I checked, that's pretty much how we get our business, isn't it? Yeah. Referrals. Last time I checked, we sit across the table interacting face-to-face with clients, right? Right. Guys, we've got this. You understand this? We have got this. Reaching new clients. The best way to get millennials is to have other millennials. But this last one is what really struck me. Millennials, job seekers, want flexibility. They don't want the traditional grind of 40 hours and 50 hours, right? They don't want somebody looking over their shoulder, micromanaging them. They want flexible hours where they can make a difference, assist people, and feel good about it. But most importantly, they want a balance between work and life. Folks, if you read that and it doesn't slap you upside the head saying this is the primary opportunity, you're losing it. All right? I get excited when I see this stuff because the industry is telling us we're doing everything right. The industry is telling me, even in my infinite mind, the opportunity is even bigger than what I can put together. You guys with me on that?
Yes.
So what I want to do is I want to turn it over to my partner to talk to you guys about the resources that are available for you guys to use. See, at the end of today, your mindset should be, I am running out of here and I'm going to go build my business. And to talk about the resources that's going to help you, please give a big round of applause for my beautiful partner, Senator Cassius.
So when the company came out with this, when they announced it, I was probably, along with Jim Patu, fired up about this because some of the RVPs could remember we have a binder that's full of ammunition and articles that we would have put together ourselves to talk to the clients about what's going on in the economy right now. So on POL, and I'll show you some clips of that, you can get articles like the one Todd talked about, but in every different area of our business. So links to the latest news, so it's updated. It's up to date every day. The statistics as well of those articles that are going on, the 7 different tabs I want to show with you guys. So if you want to jot down notes here where to find it. So for you brand new associates, your page is going to look like this. Okay, all the veterans, it's going to be different, but you want to put your cursor on POL Home and click on POL Home. Once you do that, this is going to come up, and the reality of Main Street is what you want to click on, okay? Once you click onto that, here's what the company did for us. They already, POL, if you guys haven't been on there in a while, has a ton of knowledge and resources. You guys don't understand what we get for that $25 a month. But they added this to it to make our job a lot easier and for us to get even more passionate and motivated about what we do for families. So they have different tabs, our opportunities. So these are articles that are written third party of what's going on right now in the economy, Main Street families. So if we clicked on Main Street families is where you would find that article that Todd just read. Life insurance, so the stats on how many families are underinsured or don't have any insurance. Savings, we know that the nation is a negative when it comes to savings. Retirement, debt, college. So I'm going to click, if we were to go to Main Street, click on LPL Closes NetWise unit, that's the article right there, and it would show you, it would take you to the source where we got that article, and that's where you would take that. You can print it off if you have an iPad. And the point of all of this, guys, if you didn't already catch it, is I think twofold. Number one is to build up our belief that what we do is 100% right for families. Are you guys with me on that?
Yes.
Okay. Number two is to instill into the families that we're talking to that it's not all good. Okay, they're living it, but they need to realize that it's being written about every single day, every week, every month, what's going on, and we're the only ones that can do something about it. So I want you guys to take this information, not just take it lightly, but go on there, read the articles, and get passionate again about what we do and go win for your family. That's what I have for you guys.
All right, so let's dig deeper now into each of the product lines and to take you through some of the announcements on the insurance side of things and some of the things going on there. The unbelievable Chase Eaton. Chase, come on in, buddy.
I don't think we've done this yet. How's everybody feeling? Awesome. We're all part of Team Unstoppable. If you're brand new, that's how we like to greet each other rather than I'm good, I'm fine. But I'm really excited because the Life Insurance Crusade, I don't know about you guys. I didn't come here to be a life insurance agent, right? And I see a lot of heads. No, I didn't either, right? But that is a very important element of what we do, all right? We're going to hear in a few moments a story of a family that actually one of their, well, Effie, somebody on her team just passed away. Somebody, Cliff Brooks, he just had a death claim that he paid. He's going to come up and share that here shortly. But we sat down with the family and we were able to help them. It's a very important part, not for that person, but for their family. right? Life insurance isn't something you need for yourself. It's something you need for your family so that they can be covered, so that they don't have to struggle financially, right? Sarah and I, just under 90 days, we're expecting our first child. I know that if something were to happen to me, my family's going to be all right, right? And that's what, yes, it costs a little bit of money, but it's the peace of mind that you get from it, right? So the Crusade is just huge. We're positioned perfectly. Kent already covered some of the stats, but we've got over 2 million policies in force, but that's only 2% of the market. All right, you saw in that video, we're the largest independent financial services company in North America, but we only have 2% of the market. Do you guys see a problem with that? Right, so we've got to continue to grow, and not just grow from a recruiting number standpoint, but we've got to go out and help more families. Right, we have over 4.3 million lives insured, 15 billion in total claims, 1 billion again that we paid out in 2013. And this is key, 100% term 100% of the time. Right, what Kent talked about with the State Farm agent, you know, when Ivan Earl met with him, you guys were right, 100% term 100% of the time. And what's happened is we've got several products now, not just term, but we've got Term Now, which is essentially instant issued. If somebody qualifies and they don't have issues with their medical background, they can get coverage that day within a couple of minutes, right? So if somebody has a horrible policy, what better way, hey, before you leave, that policy's already replaced. They can cancel it with you there because you know that it's going to be enforced. Custom Advantage, that's the product that we've had the longest, but that's got the rates are a little lower, and you're able to get more coverage. They have to do medical testing, right? Which any insurance company, you've got to do medical testing, and they've made that process even easier. But Term Pro, some of you may not have even heard of that. You have to be securities licensed in order to use this. But for clients that have $100,000 of assets, and they don't have to be with us, they just have to show that they have $100,000 available in assets, this Term Pro is a product that actually has lower rates. So it's less expensive for clients to have, and they could get more face amount for less money, right? So that the company keeps coming out with new products. Even though we've been right, they're finding ways to make it better, right? So strong fundamentals. The average face amount in premium, they're very high. We'll talk to that here in a second. Premium growth. And then it's also improving our QBI, quality of business, right? As our reps go out and they're doing the right thing for clients, if we educate families correctly, they're not going to go and cancel that policy because they understand it's right for them, right? If I don't know if any of you guys have used the Team Unstoppable website, talk to your RVP to get specifics on that. But Ian Pruckner, okay, has anybody heard of him before? He's a several $100,000 earner. Ian Pruckner has one of the best audios about what makes our life insurance better than everybody else, even term versus term. Okay, so the RVPs can distribute that to you if you don't have it. But I've been listening to that. I started hearing it 2 days ago. Started listening to it. I've listened to it 4 times already, and that's what I listen to when I work out. I could get me fired up. You know, some people are like, "Why would you listen to that?" But it really does. It gets me angry what some of these other companies are doing. So you can't really tell I work out, but and then why is Primerica positioned to surge? Right, the protection gap we already covered. You know, people are underinsured. Competition is doing all the wrong things. See, what it used to be was whole life insurance. Right, that's what everybody used to have, cash value. And then over the last 10, 15 years, companies started saying, well, term, okay, that's good. Let's do universal term, right? Some of you have heard that before. It's an iteration of term, but it's not right for the client as well. I ended up, when I first heard about this, I'm like, how does this thing work? And I couldn't find a universal term policy. So I went out and applied for a universal term policy so I could get a copy of it. I didn't keep the darn thing. It was less than a month. I never had to pay for it. But they sent me an actual policy so I could see how it actually worked. It was awesome. Right? But we've got 4 businesses in one. Okay? You've got new business, the IBR, increasing benefit rider. Okay? If a client can't afford enough coverage right away, we're able to increase that coverage each year 10% for just slightly more than what they paid initially. It's awesome. Child rider conversions. When a child hit age 25, then they're able to convert that to their own policy. That's another source of agents to go out and help families and get protection on that and then get paid. End of term. Once a 10-year or 15-year, 20-year term policy is done, a lot of families still need it. They didn't do the right things on the investment side. So we're able to go back, and this is one of the great things Ian Pruckner talks about, is those different features, what you can convert it, you can exchange it. There are several different options of what to do with that coverage. And then some of the things that are coming this year, debit card transactions. right? How many of you have sat down with a family that doesn't have a check, right? They don't have physical checks. So we're going to be able to start doing it, not credit cards. We're not going to have somebody go into debt to protect their family, but a debit card they'll be able to use. Paper to turbo applications. Right? If you don't have access to the internet, if you do a paper app, there's going to be ways now where you can put that directly to the electronic application without having to, face compliance issues, things like that. And then we've got some of the best training, some of the stuff that that Sandra just went over. We've got some great training tools on Primerica Online, and just the crusade just continues to grow. Right, so we are positioned perfectly just on the life insurance side. We're going to cover the rest of the business too, but a very important element of that. So some of the stats from this last year, increasing policy size. So our average has gone up, $237,000 in average premium submitted face amount. U.S., the premium amount is $885. That's up $34. Right, so even though they're getting more coverage, it's barely going up from a cost standpoint. Improving our quality of business, just like I talked about. It's making things more efficient for our reps so that they don't have to worry about not getting paid fully because their business is failing. Okay, and then we got a $4.4 million increase in compensation just in this last year in the life insurance side. Okay, obviously the business as a whole has grown a lot, but $20 trillion in face amount shortfall. All right, so we just saw 52% don't even have life insurance. Even those that do, there's a $20 trillion in face amount shortfall of what people should have. Okay? It's insane. 35 million uninsured households in the U.S. and 4 million in Canada. 55 million whole life and 93 million inferior term policies. Annual new policy sales are down 43% since 1980. Okay, now some of you may question why I'm showing you this in the next slide because it's kind of a downer on where we're at, but I think what I'm trying to do is let you see where we're positioned and get you a little bit angry on where we're at, where we need to be going, okay? So we're down 43%. We know we've got to just kick that thing and get it going. Competition's response. For the last 30 years, they've been replacing with direct sales channels. Right? What was the company that had kiosks in the churches? I don't remember. They pooled all these different banks and things like that, billions of dollars, trillions of dollars, and they put together a few $1 million to put kiosks in in several churches, and that was their solution to helping middle-income families. Right? Some of you are like, what? It doesn't make sense, but that was their effort to try to say they're helping the middle-income families. So instead of direct sales where you're actually going out face-to-face, they're doing the internet. They're using these other sources to be able to help. Developing gimmick products, just like we talked about, universal life term, indexed universal life. They're trying to make it sound like term because that's what most people hear now. You need term, but they're finding ways to do it. And then a lot of them now have gone back to just selling whole life. They realized the universal life wasn't working, right? They weren't selling it enough. So, okay, let's go back to our roots. Let's go sell whole life. Okay, and now that's good news for us. Those of you who've been around a while, if they have whole life, it's a heck of a lot easier to show them that we could get them more coverage for less money than it is for them to not be paying anything and try to get them to understand why they need life insurance. Okay? So that's a good thing for us, only if we go out and get to work. Right? It's not a good thing if we just sit back, oh, they've got life insurance, they're fine. Right? A lot of you may be like what I used to do is, oh, you've got life insurance, okay, great. You think if they've got coverage, they're fine. Then you later find out that it's inferior coverage. They don't have nearly enough, right? And some of you are scared because you're afraid of what they might think of you. But you've got to know deep down we are doing what's right. Okay, the stats are showing you, these third-party companies are showing you we do what's right. And we're going to get them, if we can't give them more coverage for less money or get them out of a product that's going to rip them off in the long run, we're not going to earn their business. But guess what? We can do that 99.9% of the time. All right? So for every one policy we replace, though, the industry placed 322. We got to get to work, guys. And then this one is the one that I was hesitant to even show. But used to be when Primerica was first started, when it was A.L. Williams, their goal was to beat Pru. Right? That was their motto, beat Prudential. Okay, we're number 8 right now. And right now in face amount issued, so that's $59 billion of face amount issued. That's in 100,000. doesn't sound bad, but when you compare it to these other companies that are up here, State Farm, New York, Northwestern Mutual, they're putting a lot more out there. Okay, we've got more agents. Hopefully everybody's all right. We've got more agents, but we've got to go out and start helping more families. All right, if you just sit there and watch other people do it, your corner of the world is not getting helped. And if they truly know that you care about them, you want them to be successful, you want them to be financially okay, they're going to trust you, they're going to do business with you, and they're going to refer everybody they know to. All right, so let's get out there. Let's go build it big. We'll see you guys at the top.
They showed us that ranking down in Atlanta. Now, you got to remember, most of the people down in Atlanta in this meeting have been around the business 20, 25, 30 years. We were just livid. We didn't know that Northwestern had lapped us. Now, there's two reasons why those numbers have really shifted. One is a lot of those companies have gone through mergers and acquisitions and have bought other companies. You combine their numbers. And a lot of them are starting to sell a little bit of term, but it still ticks you off. I mean, that's nothing but an excuse. So Northwestern being number one got me excited because some of you know my background and how Dan Burnett, the number one Northwestern agent, and I kind of went at it a couple times. This board over here, which I'm going to be talking about later, when Dan Burnett got terminated by Northwestern Mutual for ripping off clients from 1980 to 2000 and got investigated by the state, and he lost his office at Heritage Park. They were on the 5th floor. We had eventually moved into the 1st floor. That's the trophy I got, because that board was the board they used to write down all the closes of whole life they had done for years. That thing weighs about 200 pounds. I mean, that thing is just tough. So I didn't go up there because anytime he and I got in the same room, I almost felt I had a helmet on and I was going to get a pursuit angle and take him into the stands. But I sent my minions up and they got that out of that room. So it's still personal to me. All right? Okay. Stats are great. Love stats. That's not what impacts people. Stories impact people. Real life impacts people. So, so far, in the last 30 days, the person out of all 20 of our offices in 7 states that has personally helped the most people, is going to come up and share with you from his heart just some things on the crusade side of insurance. So, Cliff Brooks. Cliff, come on up, buddy.
How's everybody feeling?
Unstoppable!
Everybody feeling?
Unstoppable!
Awesome. I've counted the privilege to stand before everyone today and just talk about the great crusade that we're truly on. And Chase did an awesome job of talking about the statistics. So, everyone in here should take it personally that we have more work to do. If I ask you to raise your hand, this year alone, how many loved ones have you lost? How many families that you know that has lost a loved one? Here alone in Indiana, our homicide rate went skyrocketing again. I was listening to one of the shows and they talked about one of the 10-Point Coalition members. She said 90 of those families did not have protection. Therefore, that means that the state had to take care of those individuals and assist those families in putting their loved ones to rest. So I ask you, how many people did you reach out to that you could have reached out to? How many lives could you have changed by just opening up your mouth, using the gift that God's given us? We ought to be ashamed of ourselves for the opportunity that we have that we don't take full advantage of. My story today is, unfortunately, I've been in the business since 2007, and I had to deliver 2 death claims. The 2 death claims that I had to deliver, both were on young individuals, 21 years old. 2010, it was the first homicide of the year. Primerica delivered. Last year, the end of the month, a young lady, 21 years old, 2 children, a 3-year-old and an 18-month-old, healthy, fine, pregnant in her tubes, immediately gone. Now there's a grandmother that has to raise 2 individuals, her grandchildren. Here's 2 children. One remembers mama, but they don't remember mama how they remember because of where they are in age and life. All they have left is pictures to remember their mother. How many lives can we change? We have to look at the gift and the opportunity that's being presented to us. Those statistics, I mean, because we do what's right 100%, how many lives, how many corners, how many, your one market, how many people can you impact? My numbers may be high, but that's below average because there's more. So in other words, are you going to let the competition go out and talk to your family and sell your family junk? Are you going to make a stand? Are you going to take the challenge? I just want to leave because, you know, my theme for the year for my team is ain't no stopping us now. Ain't no stopping us now. We have a theory, a saying that we have in church, and Ken, I challenge you for a theme for this year. It's that each one of us bring them in. That's recruiting. Grow them up. That's what we do. We train. That's why we're here today. We have the best leadership in Prime America, if you ask me. Yes, you can clap your hands. We have all the leadership here in Prime America that you look at all those, like those are RVPs. There's no other office. There's no bickering and biting. You can go to any one of these RVPs and they'll be willing to help you. All right. But bring them in, grow them up, and send them out. The send them out is reproducing. Reproducing us. We cannot be afraid to reproduce ourselves. So ain't no stopping us now. We on the move.
I'm down with that song too. You know, this business is a mentally challenging, tough business. You've got to understand that this is the big boys and girls league. This is a big deal because there's days you're going to be motivated out of your skin to go right or wrong, and then a few minutes later you need something else to motivate you because we're human beings. So it might be, you know, I want to get a bonus, you know, and make some more money because I want to send my kid to a camp. And then minutes later, you need some other way to keep you motivated because something just didn't go right. And you're like, I want to win the next trip. See, it's very difficult to carry the weight of the world on your shoulders every minute. I'm term man, right? I mean, but there's days, my first 3, I mean, I want to take Dan Burnett out. You asked me, Ken, how'd you get to regional vice president in 9 months? Pure rage. Pure rage. My 3 in-laws had been sold whole life. I had been sold whole life as an 18-year-old. I was so upset. I was anguished at what was happening to people. I didn't even really know what I was doing. I was just pissed off. But then you get to a point where, hey, build a business here. So I want to build a business. I want to get to RVP. Then I want to get the ring. I want to be recognized as on the varsity. If you're an RVP and you don't have the ring, you're not on the varsity. Okay, you're on the junior varsity. Junior varsity plays at 6 o'clock. Okay? You're at 6 o'clock. You ain't on the varsity yet. You can sit behind the varsity bench in the stands while the varsity goes and play. That's how I feel about it. So the ring drove me like crazy. Then I wanted to develop a hierarchy. I wanted to I want it to have security. Okay? So whatever the motivations are, it doesn't matter as long as the action's taken. So one of the things that we want to show you is we have a lot of fun. The pain's got to have a purpose. The pain's got to have a purpose. I wish everybody I talk to, if I said, look, I've got 21 years of experience, I can help you with your finances, I wish all of them would say, can you come over here right now? That's not how it works. In fact, I can't tell you how many people I've sat with at kitchen tables, explained everything, and I didn't get the sale, didn't get them to make the right decision. And, you know, before I'm out the door, I'm beating myself up. You're supposed to be good at this. What could you have said differently? And it wasn't until years later you find out that the husband had 3 credit cards and he didn't want his wife to know about it. So you don't know that then. You think you're the dud. So my point is you've got to go through the numbers because you just don't know when people are ready. So I'm not ashamed that we have great company trips. I'm not ashamed that we give watches and Rolexes and trinkets to be one of the things to motivate you. So this next company trip is to La Costa. A lot of us are going to Hawaii here in a few weeks. That was the last company trip. And that's going to be a blast, of course. But the next one's to the La Costa Resort out in California. So you might be motivated by the crusade this minute. You might be motivated about making money. But during part of this next 4 or 5 months, one of the things that might get you stoked is to take one of your loved ones, your spouse or a parent, on a trip that the company pays for. So let's take a look at the next destination. This video should hopefully get you excited.
Imagine this, team. You're walking in here, and they say, welcome to La Costa, Resort and Spa. You're with your loved ones. Think about the feeling. How it's going to feel. And the views here are breathtaking. They are unbelievable. What do you agree, Freddie?
Yes, it's amazing here, guys. It's one thing to travel, but it's another thing to travel with Primerica. I mean, like Mario said, this place is just unbelievable. And ladies, the spa is amazing. And just to be here with the company legends, them sharing their tips on how to build an amazing business, and to be at an amazing location, guys, it's a win-win.
And look, the beauty about this is you can bring your loved ones. See, they might not have the same vision you have right now, but once you get them here, they're going to see it. That's what happened to us, right, Frank? And it totally changed our business, guys. It was just something different about us. We came back with more determination, and like Frank said, we get to listen to the leaders about this, you know, the best of the best in the entire company. Man, you got to fight like crazy to get here, guys. It is life-changing.
Anybody want to go with me? Well, you got to know how to win. You got to know the rules. You got to know the categories. You got to know the points. You got to know how the score gets calculated. So to take you through how to compete for this next company trip, and by the way, the exact same things you need to do to win the trip are the exact same things you need to do to get promotions are the exact same things you need to do to help families. It's all in alignment. So there's nothing about, okay, I'm going to go do this to win a trip, but it's not really the right. It's all the same stuff. So you got to know how the points are calculated. So to take you through that, let's welcome up the unbelievable Jimmy the Two.
That's right. So I'm just excited, man, to share a few wisdom, knowledge, a little bit of knowledge with you guys on winning trips. And I know that the first trip that Christy and I won was to Boca Raton, and it's right after as we were transitioning from part-time to full-time, and it was just really life-changing for us. We'd never, before Primerica, the Holiday Inn was like a big deal, and we've been spoiled over the years for sure. We joke around when we stay at other hotels. We're like, this isn't like a Primerica trip. We're paying for it out of our own dime. So I know the price is right when they said total retail value of, I know they spent probably $6,000 or $7,000 for a couple to go on these trips, so it's not a small deal. I mean, these are 5-star resorts around the world, but I mean, you don't run your business, as Cliff, I'm sure, can attest to, you don't run your business to win a trip, okay? The trip is the gem that you get for doing what you're supposed to be doing. I mean, if you do what you're supposed to be doing, trust me, you can afford your own trips. But you've never been on a trip unless you've been on a Primerica trip. They treat their goal, they have a mission, okay, of treating you like kings and queens, and basically you're going to live as if you were a millionaire for about 3 days, and then they say, hey, Cliff, guess what? You ain't a millionaire. Get your butt back home and get busy. They give you a taste, and you're like, and then you want to go back and kill it, right? So 1,500 couples. There's just a few pictures of this resort, and I know Kent just met with all the folks that make over $250,000 or above, and they're just like, so fired up to go to this resort. They said it's one of the best ones. Most of them, I don't think the company's ever run a trip in my 12 years here at Primerica to La Costa, but most of the $1 million, $250,000 plus know of this resort because that's where the lifestyle the rich and famous go to. And if they're fired up to go there, then I'm fired up to go there, right? I'm really fired up to play a round of golf in this golf course. Check that out. Is that cool or what? So, and it's, I think you just take a little shuttle to the beach. So it's not on the beach, but it's right there, the Southern California coast. So as Ken mentioned, there's a formula to this, okay? Now you can win the trip, as I'm going to show you, in the individual categories. If you're great at home and auto, if you're great at securities or certain areas of helping families, and that's your passion here, there are slots lined up for you. But really, where the prestige, in my opinion, goes to is the builders category, because those are the folks that are actually going to be vice presidents, currently vice president or will be vice presidents, because they're doing all facets of the business, which is hiring, getting people licensed, training, and developing people. And that's where the company's going to put most of their effort. So for every new associate you get 1,000 points. All right? For life licenses, it's 10,000 points. So I know you guys both came with the license, didn't you? So they came with the license already. They, not only the person that brought them in the business gets 10,000, but they actually get 10,000 themselves towards the contest. Isn't that cool? So go find some licensed people. Makes it easier, right? And then for a securities license, do either of you have securities license? Outstanding. They both. So there's one. Hey, Angel, I mean, who is that? Herman, you over at them? Right? Beautiful. There's 60,000 points. You think Herman's going to cost it? Right. All right. So he's fired up. And then initial securities trades, you get 1,000 per trade. So for helping families get IRA set up or whatever, rollovers. And then premium points is dollar for dollar. So Danielle and Rams is $800 of premium. That's how many points you get. So whatever that is, dollar for dollar. And all of those things add up. And you go on Primerica Online and you track where your points are. And they have these categories. So they're taking a total of like 1,500 couples. I want to focus on the people below RVP, because that's really, everybody above that knows where they need to do and what they need to do. I want to talk to those of you that are brand new. For newly licensed people, there's 25 spots just for you. So you're not competing, Danielle and Ram, against us that have been here since the earth school. You're competing against a brand new person that came in yesterday, just like you guys. It's like their first training ever. Give them a hand, all right? So you're competing with brand new people, all right? And for those of you that are newly licensed, for those of you that are below regional leader, there's a certain amount of slots, and you're just competing with your category of folks right at your level. Okay, so you got to be at the top at your level to win the contest, but you're not competing with people that have been here a long time. you're competing at that level. Now, future RVPs, which is the regional leaders, there's categories for you, and then even new RVPs. And then here's the individual. So there's 25 slots just for personal light production. I know Cliff has his eye on that, but I would challenge him to win the builders category. That's like the JV, in my opinion, for you. You want to win the builders category. Even for personal home and auto. So the top 10 in personal home and auto, if you do a home and auto, you get credit for one auto and one home. So you basically get two when you help somebody with home and auto. You go help 3 or 4 families a month, you could win in the personal home and auto category. So I don't care what you win. I promise you they ain't going to give you a worse room if you win in that category. You just win the trip. Find something that you can get fired up about and put your eye on it and go win the daggone trip, right? Because spousal support definitely goes up when you win a trip. I promise you that. I won't talk about this. You know, the bathroom in the beach resort is like 1,000 square feet, right? And it had a phone in it. So, first thing I did, I'm a pumpkin. I made a phone call from the bathroom. There's 1,400 slots to win. So, you know, the biggest thing I think personally is when the contest opens, which I think the numbers up now though. Yeah. The numbers are up now. You go to Primerica Online, all right, and you look, and what you do is you find somebody that you've never met that's in the running right now and start competing with them. Because their numbers, if you click on their name, it'll drill down to their exact numbers. How many new associates, how many of everything they did in the month of December, that was the first month, and you start competing with them. You start focusing on that. Worst case scenario, you don't win the trip, but you think your business is going to be farther ahead if you're competing with somebody that's on track to win. You know, so you got to get that competition stoked up and just let that come. So committed to winning January. Again, as Kent said, everything is lined up. You do run the play the coach calls. You're going to win the championship. You're going to win the trips. You're going to get promoted. You're going to take care of all of that stuff. And so what we're going to do is we're focusing on people at the beginning of the year that will help us develop that distribution. We're not going to beat Northwestern Mutual with the same amount of people we have now. That's not the case because you know what? When you walk in the door, you better sell 10 right now or you're out of here. You don't sell 10 2 months in a row, you're fired. That's why their production doubles ours. Ours is a volunteer army. Theirs is a penitentiary. Okay? So we're going to have to grow our numbers in order to kick their butt. That's the reality. So here's what the company's going to do. They say, hey, look, you come aboard and you just get one personal new associate this month. Hire one person. Find one person that needs to make more money, hates their job, wants to make a career change, wants to be part of the crusade like Cliff talked about, and we're going to reward you with 5,000 points. So basically one recruit this month is worth the same points in any normal month as 5 recruits. Okay? So it's very clear. Now, you have a team of people, and you get that team to 5 new associates this month. So Cliff and his team, he maybe hires 1 or 2 people, helps a couple team members, and he does a total of 5 in his office. Anybody that gets 1 is going to get 5,000, but the team, the leader, obviously they're going to reward leadership. Would you agree that's a good thing? That's a good message? Anybody that's a leader and helps lead to 5 new associates, they're going to get 10,000. And anybody that hits that magic number of 10 as a team this month is going to get 25,000 points towards the contest. I don't know, maximum of 25,000, so it's not cumulative. Okay? Once you hit 1, you get to 5. If you hit a 5, it bumps you up to 10 and so forth to 25. Does that make sense? Yes. So that's what the play is. The coach is calling the play. They're not saying who helps or she helps the most life insurance families this month or home and auto. They're saying at the beginning of the year, we've got to focus on distribution, which means we need to have a recruiting mindset this month, even if you're brand new. Even if you say, I don't even know where the bathroom is, how am I going to get a new associate and lead them to victory? You're not. Your coach is. All you got to do is bird dog it like Ken talked about. You go find somebody that has a need, we'll take care of them for you, and then you get the points. Leaders who receive extra credit by recruiting 5 or more, so in addition to the 10,000 points, you're actually everybody on your team, as long as our team hits 5 new associates, which we're going to hit probably the middle of this week, anybody that does 1 is going to get the committed to winning shirt. So that'll be the team uniform, I'm sure, for our team for the next business training school in April. Our goal is to make sure that every single person on the team gets that blue shirt and we all show up with the blue. Would that be awesome? Right? So, and then leaders from this group who earn RVP, SVP, or get basically their promotion are going to be recognized as a lead leader. So I know some of you have a goal of becoming a regional vice president during this contest period. Not only will you get all the goodies that come with getting promoted to RVP, you're actually going to get special VIP treatment at the trip, which is huge, right? Yes. You can, well, look at the look. They know because they know it's coming, right? Angel and Ellie and Herman, they know it's coming. They're already visualizing that, so I would challenge a lot of you to get totally hyped up about that. Now, what a company that not only are they running a trip, but they actually run another trip to one of the most exclusive resorts in the world. So now this is for people that are securities licensed or will be securities licensed. And if you're not, if you're brand new, just understand you're at the right place at the right time. The company is just throwing money, thousands of dollars at you to incent you to do the right thing. This is the Greenbrier Getaway. It's in West Virginia, the mountains of West Virginia. And so this is another 232 slots available for those that are the top producers on the security side of things. So I know our goal is to win both trips. I would challenge all of you to focus on whatever's in your lane. Stay in your lane. If you're brand new, don't worry about this trip. If you're getting ready to get securities license, just know if you keep using that license and tearing it up, you're going to win both trips and have an incredible 2014. So I'm super proud to be your teammates. Can't wait to see you in La Costa. Have a great day.
Couple points of emphasis there. Everybody on your team's points count for you too. So pushing up people. You want to help somebody on your team win the trip will go a long way for you winning the trip. Okay. Also, I've been on I don't know how many company trips, 50 some. Been to Hawaii 6 times with the company. The resorts are great. The gifts on your bed at night are great. The luggage, the cameras, all that's great. I joke there's 2 reasons to run back to the room, right? Love it. Okay? We'll get that later. That's not the best part. The 2 best parts of winning trips is that everybody on your team knows that they're following a leader. You're an RVP and you don't win a company trip, I'm doubting whether I'm following the right person. I am. If you're a regional leader or a division that's winning trips, meaning you're one of the top regional leaders in the company, I'm like, they might not be an RVP yet, but I'm following one of the top leaders in the company. So that's one of the key reasons. The other key reason is who you hang out with. Show me your friends. I'll show you your future. You take the income of the 10 people that you hang out with the most, and you average that income, that's what you make. Eagles don't hang with chicken hawks. We're all God's children. That's not what I'm talking about. But when I'm sitting around these pools and people are talking about their private jets and paying for churches, not paying for the buildings. Not, oh, that's cute, you're passing the plate. That's cute. You need a check for $750,000, here's a check. That's the kind of conversation. When you see people diving into the pools with Rolexes on, you're like, it doesn't waterproof. You know, you are who you surround yourself with, and it's not just in your teenage years. All of us know that teenagers hang with the wrong, adults, same thing. Most of us, not most of us that are in Primerica, but most of you in this room that are not full-times, most of the people you hang around with are dull, disillusioned, frustrated, daggum crybabies, bitching and moaning about everything, and you're not even realizing it because you get sucked in. And they talk about sitcoms, the new shows coming out, lotteries, lottery tickets, and the latest LeBron James tweet. It's insignificant people grumbling about insignificant things. And we're here for a flicker, and that's how they're spending their life. You get around people that are movers and shakers, you tend to start thinking differently about yourself. It challenges you. I mean, you walk into a gym, just use a basketball analogy, you walk into a gym. Now, I'll use John Addison's analogy. It's more relatable. John Addison, our co-CEO, is kind of built like me, okay? He's got a lot of meat on his bones. But according to him, his family, his side of the family, he feels anorexic because everybody's gigantic. He goes, you can feel like you're skinny if you're hanging around with a bunch of fat people, but the reality of it is you ain't skinny. See, a lot of you in here feel that you got a great life because you're hanging around people whose lives suck. Start come hanging around with some of us that have total freedom and financially independent. You'll pretty soon be saying, oh my God, my life sucks. I got to change. So win the trips to start positioning yourself to get the most out of what God has for you while you're here on this earth, which is to be the best you can be. All right? It does get to the point where you cannot go into a hotel on your own. You're like, I got to carry my bags? What the heck? And you don't get your nose in here. You just get used to it. Okay, we're down in Atlanta. You know, I took my son because Lori couldn't go. I took our 19-year-old. You know, and we get off the motor coach, and he's going to get the bags. I said, son, you don't need to get this. Okay. Then we walk in, and they have all this gifts and food for us. And he goes, can I have 2 lunches? I said, yeah, take 3. Roast beef? Yeah. You know, so win the trip. Now, the tool that everybody in here on a scale of 1 to 10 skill level, the tools that we all need to get to 8, 9, or 10 are some of the things that Pat's going to come up and talk about. There is no one in the company that's better at the kitchen table and better at helping families than Pat Moore. I used to say, and he'll tell, I used to say there's no one better on the team in helping families. Then I said there's no one better in Indianapolis. Then I started a few years ago saying there's nobody better in the Midwest. Now I can tell you there's nobody better in the company sitting down with families and helping. I absolutely believe that. So the financial needs analysis, some of the tools we have started Saturday trainings here in this office. Pat's spearheading that. There's some other trainings. But he's going to take you through some of the announcements on some of these things that you need to get great at. So a big hand for Pat Moore.
All right, we're going to kind of dive right in here. And I'm going to start on the investment side of things. What I'm going to show you here is I want you to see that this company keeps getting better and better and better. When I got started in the business about 10.5 years ago, we didn't have Terry Bradshaw doing commercials for us. We had Terry, who was in his dad Brad's basement doing a little video camp, you know, like some cash value agent talking about how Primerica's terrible. So I want you to think about, for those of you who've been in the business for a while, when you were talking to a potential recruit and they started their sentence like, hey, I just Googled Primerica, and like, how did that end? It's a little different, right? So we've got some unbelievable things. The opportunity that we have now is much, much better than what it was when I got started. But this is not people's income. This is just their investment income last year. And I just want you to look not only at what is possible here, but look at the growth. So on the left-hand side, we have the United States, Bobby and Rudd Buisan. Raise your hand if you're a VP. For those of us who have been VPs and gone through millionaires in training, when you get to VP, when you become a regional vice president this year, one of the trips you get to go on is you get to go down to the Atlanta area, and you get to check out his house. I mean, his house is amazing. His barn is, you could probably fit 4 of my houses in his barn. And his income last year was $1.1 million just on the investment side of things, up 13%. You look at a lot of the Saffords, over $1 million. Jerry and Rhonda Byron. This is one thing that I love about this business is we are building something that we can pass on to our family. So Tom helped his dad quite a bit build his dad's business, but when his dad passed away, Tom took that over. Look what he has coming in just with investments. That's amazing. And so that's what you got your hands on here. On the investment side of things, it's a huge, huge opportunity to help a lot of people. So before even getting into these stats, I'm going to, I just want to just share from the heart a little bit. Some of you have been around for a while, you may have heard this before, but our competition, earlier, Sandra and Todd were going through the article on LPL. LPL is definitely one of our bigger competitors. They will focus more on the wealthy. But their game plan for serving the middle class was having a website and a 1-800 number that people could call. So that was absolutely a flawed system. Our advantage is we get to sit kneecap to kneecap and serve middle-income families. And so Merrill Lynch, this is probably 8 years old, but they sent out, the head of Merrill Lynch sent out an email to its brokers, and this was the email. We must put limits on the amount of charity work we will do, or we will not have time to service and grow our base of customers who are willing and able to pay for quality advice. Remember, velocity on assets is not going up. So the game is still more assets and bigger accounts. If there are still financial consultants who really enjoy servicing small accounts, please let me know, and I will give you a nice salary job with the Investor Services Group where you can deal with the poor until your heart's content. So that's, I'm not into martial arts, but in in martial arts, there's what's called the defender's advantage. So if somebody breaks into my house, the defender's advantage is you have a 5-to-1 advantage if you feel morally justified you're doing the right thing. And so you look at, you look at me, you look at a lot of people in this room. We aren't the pretty people that everyone wants to go to talk to about money, but we have, I think, the defender's advantage. We're going in, we're doing the right thing when we sit down with you. And that's, I think, something to get excited about. So, anyway, let's kind of dive into some statistics, some numbers, kind of looking back. So the past 4 years, we have double-digit growth on our investment business, which is a big deal. Most companies, they're excited. You look at the gross domestic product in the United States, the total amount of, growth in our economy is a little less than 2% a year. So for us to be growing double digit, that's a big, big deal. Our assets under management are $42 billion, and 43% of our money that Primerica pays out to their representatives is on the investment side of things. So if you do not have that license, you're leaving a lot of money on the table. So that's one of, as a group of RVPs, that's one of our biggest goals for this year, is to get everybody in this room who wants that license and is willing to put in the time to prepare for it to get that license. We have a class that's coming up next weekend here at this office. It's for the state of Indiana. So we're going to be doing, Kent and I and some other folks are going to be doing some training on the financial needs analysis, those kind of things, but there is a class for the Series 6. Now, I know some of you have passed the 6, not the 63. This is not for you. This is for the Series 6. The cost is $50, and it's a weekend class, Saturday, Sunday, to help prep you for that. So our company is pouring resources into that. We have somebody, I don't know where she's from, but she's flying in to do that. So if you do not have that license, as long as you have your life license, I would recommend you get here for that. There are only 30 spots for the state. Now, this is offered for the entire state. So you want to get registered. You can get registered on Primerica Online for that. So, anyway, managed accounts, this is relatively new. This is probably 2 or 3 years old. We went over $1 billion there. That's 10% of total investment sales, our managed account sales, fixed index annuities. If you have your life insurance license, you can offer that product to help families. You just have to get certified with MetLife or Lincoln. We have a new partnership with Lincoln. 70% of variable annuity sales last year were through Lincoln. This year we're going to be starting a partnership with AXA, and we're going to be getting into the 403B market, which is a big deal. So our company, again, keeps getting better and better. So so a couple things, if you're taking notes, I know the statistics sometimes don't always sink in, but I want you to write this down. 60% of households in the United States do not have IRAs. And again, Merrill Lynch, Charles Schwab, a lot of those bigger brokerage companies, they are not sitting down with people, educating them, and helping them get $100 a month put into a Roth. We are the only company that can do that has a system that's focused on that. So my personal goal for the year, there are 365 days in the year, my personal goal is to average $100 of monthly tax per day. I'm a little short. I'm about $950 right now. It's 11, so I'm a little behind. But my goal is to get a bunch of those IRAs set up. I get excited when I sit down and help a family set up $50 a month. You get something going there. So anyway, with that, more comp to the field. This is a huge, huge deal. trails at all levels. Before, we saw Jennifer McNary today get her regional promotion. Give her a hand. But before, there were probably only about 12 to 15 of us in the room who would get paid residually on our assets under management. Now everyone has the ability to do that. So that's gonna be one of the next slides I cover. So just having an opportunity to get paid residually for helping a family now, and the more their assets grow, the more we get paid. Yesterday I got paid a check for about $1,400. That was my residual check from American Funds for the accounts I have with them. And I don't really even set up a ton of accounts with American Funds. So that's just what I've done over the past several years, paying me a monthly residual. The companies pay quarterly, but this is the month I get my ones from American Funds. So, trails paid at all levels. Obviously, it's a good reason to stay licensed, to get your license. So let's look at how that works. So let's say everyone in this room, if you have a goal of having less than $1 million of assets under management that you grab this year, you're thinking too small. You need to at least be thinking $1 million. That's if you're part-time. If you're full-time, you should at least be thinking a couple million here. But with this, if you are Dan Short, he's past his 6, he's getting ready to take his 63. So he is a division leader. Before, he would get paid 0 on residuals on that. So what if he earns $1 million of assets under management, 12B1 fees are about 0.25%. So $2,500 is that he gets paid 18% of that. So he gets paid roughly $450 every year for those assets he accumulated. If that account grows 10% a year, or his grouping of accounts, last year, you know what the S&P 500 was last year? The stock market in the United States, what was it up? Yeah, it's up like 32%. So obviously bonds were down a little bit, international wasn't down up as much, but I mean, we've got a great opportunity to help families and educate them on how to get involved in that stuff. But Dan has $450 for that $1 million that he grabs coming in residually. That's not including the $100 a month that he sets up for, 20 or 30 or 40 families. So anyway, great opportunity there. A lot of opportunities on the financial needs analysis side of things, technology. This is a super busy page. But the financial needs analysis, families don't need a menu, they need a map. And that's what we're able to do. We're able to provide families with a roadmap for how to get to where they are now to financial independence. Most middle-income families, I sat down with the family, trying to think how long ago this was. This was maybe a week. It was on like the 2nd of the year, so right at the beginning of the year. This family, the person I was training, they didn't want him to come. They were embarrassed about their situation. They had $47,000 in credit card debt. They were struggling. They made really, really good money. This family made, they make $190,000 a year, so they make good money, but they never had a financial coach. They had no roadmap. And through our debt snowball plan, they have a mortgage, they have 1 car loan, and they have all that credit card debt. Showed them how to debt snowball down an extra penny, 6 years and 9 months. They're completely debt-free, mortgage paid off.
Yeah.
So we do, the financial needs analysis is a great tool to help families. So let's just kind of look at some of these things. So staying plugged in, this is, again, a lot of the technology stuff, which I'm probably not the best person to go through this, but on the tech side of things, new recruits are 6 times more likely to pass their licenses if they use the Success Now system. And 80% of people who are licensed have used that, the Pass Now exams. So get online. Now, Justin Steiner, who's in the room, he just passed his Series 6, so give him a hand. I know I asked you this before. How much time did you put in roughly to prepare for that series?
I'm guessing 25 to 30 hours.
25 to 30 hours over the past 3 months, and what score did you get? 95%. So he used the Success Now system, and that prepared him for that. I'm not very smart with that when it comes to testing, so I got maybe a 70-something on when I passed my test. But we have some tools now that are great ways to prepare for that. We look at, again, a lot of these things. Primerica Online, the $25 a month. Every single person in this room wasted $25 last month. Do you agree with that? We all waste 25 bucks. This is a great investment for your business. If you look at the value of what you get with Primerica Online, it's unbelievable. So I went to an investment trip probably 6 years ago, and just one of the tools that we have, the Morningstar tool, one of the brokers that was with the different firm pays $2,500 a year just for that, and that's like something that most of us use probably in the room probably don't even use. So that we have some great tools there. Mobile apps. So we have the ability to key in a financial needs analysis without being online now. That's a great tool. Web FNAs are 90%. Engage for 90%, which we'll talk about, and the Enrich, which Kent's going to hit. So anyway, we really want to lead with a good deed. So what I want you to, you can write this statement down for me. Every financial needs analysis that I do for someone else is a certificate of good deed. So I want you to think about every financial needs analysis you do, that is a certificate of good deed for someone else. If I'm sitting down with, let's say Rainey and Sue are my neighbors, and we got dumped on with snow this past week. If I shovel their driveway for them, what do they feel about me for doing that? They probably feel good. Maybe Sue's going to bake me some cookies because she feels she needs to, be thankful and grateful for what I've done. So with that, when we serve a family with a financial needs analysis, they should feel the same way. Justin and I were sitting down helping a family over his Christmas break. We sat down with the teacher, educated about some stuff, grabbed some stuff, put together a financial needs analysis. Before we even asked for business, they were like, do we write you a check? Like, how do we help you with this? And we just talked to them about referrals. That's how you keep your business going. If you're not getting enough referrals, you're not doing enough financial needs analysis. If you do the financial needs analysis, you will get referrals. And so, again, think of it as a certificate of good deed. So I'm not, as a team, we did about 141 of those last year, which I am upset about. We need to do more of those. Our goal this quarter as a group, as a team, again, there are only 5 of us here today, but our goal as a team is to do 150 of those the first quarter. We want to do more. We want to serve more families the first 3 months than we did all of last year. So try to stretch your goals a little bit on how you can get in front of families and help. So the web financial needs analysis has several things that the other financial needs analysis didn't. We have the ability now to run things for families that are unbelievable. Joe, I know when we sat down and you sat down with another company before you sat down with us, what was the difference in your mind of what we put together versus if you had to put a value as far as how much more value we put together versus what they did, what would you say that was?
Well, theirs just basically felt like a sales presentation for like 2 or 3 products.
Yeah. So it was, not even apples. It was
with apples and oranges.
Yeah. So what we do is we put together a phenomenal, and this is I'm not going to mention the company you sat down with, but most of you think, hey, that's a really good company. They're probably putting together better plans than what we are, but we put together a phenomenal plan. And for those of you who are in the business in the first 90 days, or if you're recruiting people that have only been in business for 90 days or less, you should be getting them on Engage for 90. It's just a tool where for those of us who are competitive, we can compete against other people. We're exactly where we are in our business. So I'm going to, I want to just kind of wrap up with this. So I'd like you to take notes on these 13 things. This is an article from Forbes. Unbelievable article. I've got the date on the next page of this article, but it's mentally strong people, 13 things they avoid. And to be successful in this business, those of you who have gotten to RVPs, gotten to regional league, you are unbelievably mentally strong. The stuff, this is not an easy business, but For those of us who are able to, persevere, this is a phenomenal payoff on the back end. So one thing that the first thing they avoid is waste time feeling sorry for themselves. I've got 3 little kids. Sometimes they talk about, life isn't fair. This isn't fair. What we tell our kids, Jill and I, we're like, hey, the fair's in August. That works like 11 months out of the year. So, a lot of people waste time feeling sorry for themselves. So I think one important mindset to have is you want to be 100% responsibility for your own business. And you want to ask yourself, if you have challenges, what can I learn from that challenge? The second thing is people give away their power. And sometimes that's not necessarily a bad thing, but you want to make sure you're not in a position where you're, I think, again, one of the things with being an entrepreneur, I'm not giving away my power. I used to be a middle school math teacher and basketball coach. So my principal, assistant principal, they had a lot of power and control over, whether or not I had a job that next year. The next one, shy away from change. I think a lot of times people are afraid of the unknown. I think one thing that it's good to be fearful of is being complacent and stagnant. If you own your own business, you want to be fearful of that. Again, looking back at last year, there were a lot of things that I'm like, man, I didn't work hard enough. I got stagnant last year, so I want to shy. I'm excited for this upcoming year and some of the change. So step 4, waste energy on things they can't change. Do not get upset about 12 inches of snow. You can't control that. Do not get upset. One of the things that drives me crazy is when I hear people complain about, hey, my team's just not doing anything. You've got the same licenses that everyone else in the room does. Go do it yourself. Lead from the front. So don't waste energy on things you can't change. Worry about pleasing others. This is probably my weakest of these. I'm a people pleaser, and I shy away from speaking truth in some areas. So that's one thing that she put in her article. The next thing is fear of taking calculated risks. I'm going to give you a quick little conversation on the investment side of things you can have with folks that obviously applies to this as well. So if I'm sitting down with the family and they're like, hey, I think investing is risky, this is the conversation I have. I would say if I was sitting down with Don Kwok, and let's say Don was like, yeah, I'm kind of afraid about this. So Don, let's say that your aunt, who you're real close with, let's say she lives out in California, she passed away, and you get a phone call right now, and they tell you about your aunt, and they say, hey, the funeral is tomorrow in Los Angeles at noon. So let's say Don's very fearful. He's afraid of flying. If he flies, does he have some risk that the plane can go down? There's maybe a little bit of risk, but it's calculated risk. And so if he were to drive, is there any way that he's going to be able to leave this office right now and get to Los Angeles, California by noon tomorrow? No. That vehicle will not get him there. And so you think about a lot of, that's the way I looked at my job. My job and again, teaching is a great profession. There's nothing wrong with committing your life the next 30 years to teaching. But that's what I was doing. And I looked, hey, with my goals, with where we want to be as a family, that vehicle is not going to allow us to get to our goal. And so a lot of people look at my first year, I made 17 grand here. So that was a risk. I made less money when I first got started. But stuck with it. So with this, the next one, dwell on the past. Kent's done this before. I'm going to run the wall real quick. But go ahead and write this out. 2013 is not equal to 2014. The past does not equal the future. So some of you, if you're not happy with your past, you can change it. Get more focused. Prepare. I think this is a great time of year to get prepared for being better equipped to serve other families. The other side of things, if you've had some success in the past, I'm referencing a movie that maybe half of you don't know. How many of you have seen Napoleon Dynamite? You've seen Napoleon? Okay. So there's a guy named Uncle Rico that's like 45 years old, and he's like videotaping himself throwing a football, talking about, hey, if the coach just would have put me in, we would have won the state championship. You do not want to be Uncle Rico. You want to, if you've had some success, keep getting after it. Keep doing the things that got you there. So, oops, the next one, make the same mistakes over and over. Obviously, we've all heard the definition of insanity there. One thing that mentally strong people avoid is resent other people's success. I get excited. You know, when I was going up through the business, saw Effie, you know, kicking tail, I got excited about that. I didn't resent Effie. There are things I can learn from Effie and Jim, and I've been able to learn a lot of those things. So you want to celebrate other people's success. Obviously, don't give up after failure. It's probably one of the biggest things. Fear of alone time. Feel the world owes them something. That's a big deal. We have a very, this is huge in our culture, thinking that, hey, if my boss owes me something or the president owes me something, like that's not a good, healthy mindset to have. And then expect immediate results. Obviously, this is a business where you have to pay a big price on the front end of things to get results long term. So my father-in-law, when I was looking at it, I was kind of weighing out, hey, should I be a principal? I was taking some class to be a principal, or should I, start with Primerica? He said, Pat, most business owners are underpaid their first 2 years, overpaid their next 30, whereas most employees are overpaid their first 2 years, underpaid their next 30 or 40. That's why most employees jump from job to job to job every couple years. So that made a lot of sense to me. So hopefully those are some things that you guys can implement to, grow your mental strength. And I'm going to kick it over to the man, Kent Preston. Give him
This year, feel the world owes them something, or feel Primerica owes them something. See, here's my take. All of you deserve to be here, but you're not owed anything by the company. This is a pure, right here on your shoulders business. If you're rocking, congratulations. If you're down in the dumps, congratulations. I mean, either way. And that's what I wanted. How many of you have been passed up for a promotion at a job because you didn't quite fit whatever criteria and you knew you were the best person? That was a defining moment for me. Okay? I can't change my skin color. Okay? So when they tell me, we've already got 2 white administrators, we need diversity, what am I to do with that? Yeah, you're the best candidate. We've never seen anybody that has that much skill. But it's not a good fit. That was just like, are you? So here, if you have it rocking, you did it. If you don't have it rocking, you did it. And that should get you jacked up. That should get you totally jacked up because you're in total control of what's going to happen in 2014. So you deserve to be here, but no one owes you anything. That's a very healthy way to go through life. I also like this one. Most of us come from a 2-week culture. I get paid every 2 weeks. I think every 2 weeks from our jobs. So when you start a business, all of a sudden it's like, well, I've been here, I've occupied a chair, and I've breathed air for 2 weeks, so where's my check? It's like, no, you don't. You're a farmer that's putting seed in the ground at 8 a.m. in the morning, and you're back by 11 saying, where the hell's the crop? It's like, you're a business owner. Go ask a person that opens up a Subway how long it takes them to get profitable. Go ask somebody that starts a landscaping business how long it takes them to get profitable. 3 to 5 years, and you're lucky. Okay? So be careful as you work with new people that you don't give them the wrong expectations. Chris Koob said to me when he recruited me, you're not going to make a dime here for 90 days. You're not going to make a dime. Now, we didn't have auto and homeowners. We didn't have the things that you could do before you're licensed, but you can't get paid here until you get licensed. But then once you get it going, this thing could take off. And so be careful that you're not setting the wrong expectations with people. We want entrepreneurs. We want different kind of thinkers. We're built for people that think differently than most people. To create something is 1,000 times different than to process something. And most people are processors. We're all God's children, but they couldn't create something to save their rear end. The value to a company is to create. If you can create an office like Josh Matthews has in Muncie and start helping 40, 50, 60 couples a month, that is hugely valuable for Primerica. if you sit in a cubicle and say, give me a stack of paper, everybody do Primerica if we gave you the appointments. But we pay you what a trained monkey would get paid. Because all you'd have to do is, what's your address? When would you like to retire? I mean, a sophomore in high school could do that. You've got to go talk to people, talk to companies, create things, and that's why those of us that do that get paid what we get paid. And that Engage for 90, that first 90 days is when we can, really the Engage 90, it's a scoreboard on all your activity in your first 90 days. It's good for the brand new person because they see if they're doing right things, they get online badges, they compete. But it really is a scoreboard for me to see, is that somebody I should spend time with? I mean, and I look at those numbers. I pulled these off. Week 50, listen to this. This is just in Indiana. On those that started in the same week, Corey Balfour is number 4 under Hope Team, Lynn Marlette's number 2, and Jason Smith's number 1 on note card. So I'm like, okay, that's a name I need to know. I'll start watching that person. Is that somebody that's going to be a flash in the pan, or are they going to stick around? If you look at the 49th week, Eduardo Calderon's number 5, Nathaniel and Tara Allen number 3 on Hope's team. The next week, Shanta Manning's number 5, Ashkar Khan's number 4, April Fry's number 3, Dustin Ellery's number 4 in his week, Alakai Holman's number 1 out in New York, although they're showing up here, Francis Robinson's number 5, Janelise Flynn's number 4, Joyce Gavin in her week's number 3, Tricia Hawkins number 2, Bianca Teemer's number 1 in her week, number 4 in his week is Arthur Evans, number 5 is Melinda Coleman, number 1 in Effie's team is Holly Hautzer on her week, Stephen Parker's number 2, and Turkima Abdul's number 4, Sybil Satterfield's number 5. If you had 150 people being recruited a month in your business, how would you figure out who to talk? I just look at the release ball, and I watch them for a while, and if they stick around or consistent, those are the people I call saying, let's go to lunch and talk about getting to RVP. So get people engaged in that Engage 90, and you're able to monitor everything. All right, let me shift now back to more of a where we go from here. There are some products, there's 2 products coming that I want to talk to you about. Enrich and health insurance. Let me start with health insurance because I don't have a slide for it. Is there anything on Americans' minds more right now than health? I don't care which side of the aisle you're on or whether you like it or not, it's on people's minds. I mean, and don't get me started because I mean, I don't have a clue. But anyway, it is what it is. There are different ways that we could get into health insurance as a company. One would be, which we're not going to do, is to try and get 92,000 people health license. And to get your health license is very similar to getting your life license. So 20, 30 hours, test, all that. I have my health license. That's not the way we're going to go. The other way to go would be to go kind of how we do auto and homeowners right now, which is just refer people to a company and let them handle it and we get paid. What we're going to do is we're going to combine those 2 things. We're going to do it like we do long-term care right now. Many of you probably don't even know we do long-term care. We do so many things. In long-term care, if you have a health license, you can do a little bit more for the client and get paid a lot more. If you don't have a health license right now for long-term care, you can just give people the phone number of the website, they'll call and get handled, and you get paid, but you don't get paid as much as if you had a health license. That's how we're going to do health insurance. The company we're working with is Assurance with an A. We're already ready to go. We have the contract signed. I mean, we're ready to go. The reason we're not running with it this month, next month, or in March, we might change our minds, but the CEO is saying we don't want any confusion in the first 90 days. This is about recruiting, and this is about licensing and getting the year started. We don't want to bring in that powerful of a product in the first 90 days and have everybody go studying health insurance. But we're ready to go. The comp that they showed me on that is ridiculous. And one of the things, all the new products that we're coming out with are heavily residual focused because we want to get to where our regional vice presidents are making $8,000, $9,000, $10,000 a month without getting out of bed because we want, if another recession hits in the future, that they're bulletproof. Like Pat said just this morning on the pay cycle, he made, what was it, 1,300 residual? What was it? 14 something. 1,400?
That's cute. I made $5,600 this morning. See, you want to get to where Coop probably made, 38 grand this morning. I make 43,000 a year whether I get out of bed or not, just on securities reasons. We want to get everybody there because you don't think about, well, should I be doing this? Is this a career I should be doing? I'm making 43,000 if I don't get out of bed. I don't know. See, you get rid of all that stuff because most of you right now, just in the last 2.5 hours, you've thought about quitting at least 120 times. Like, I don't like that slide. I don't like this slide. The water's not too cold. They only have 2 bathrooms. Okay, you are so fragile. A strong wind can blow you out of this thing until you're making 100 grand. So the company wants to build in residuals so at least money isn't an issue. So when we roll out health insurance, I'm excited about it because everybody wants to talk about it. And I don't want to sit there and go over all a bunch of health plans with people. I just want to refer them, let the experts talk to them on the phone, and I get paid. So it's done. It's coming. I just don't have a date for it. The other thing that we've been talking about for 2 years is Primerica Enrich, and it's I can't say it's available February 1st. We're going to sell 100 of them from February 1st to February 17th as the final test of the product. And then in Hawaii, they're going to be unleashing the dogs, okay? Remember, Enrich is the debt stacking on steroids. It's a human being that sits down with people and helps them onboard. It's the high tech that handles everything. That's the sexiness of it, and it's on autopilot. So we are going to get people debt-free and financially independent automatically. We'll set it up, and as long as they don't screw it up, their bills are going to get paid for them, and then that money is going to be put into investments, and we're going to get them debt-free. And the example I like to use as I travel around the country is in getting healthy, this is the trainer that's going to come at 4:30 in the morning and chew on your butt to do what you need to do. This is the heart monitor and all the machines. This is eating right and exercising, and this is the discipline to do it. So my question for you is, if somebody else ate the spinach and somebody else did the crunches, but you got healthy, how many of you would sign up for that? Everybody. We can't do that with health, but we can do it with finances. I'm telling you, this is going to blow the doors off, and the comp on Enrich is just sick. I don't think But anyway, some of you, this is the first time you're going to see this. These are actual screenshots of Enrich. So this is the dashboard. It's going to show their payoff plan, their payments, how many years sooner we're going to get them out of debt, what their next target account is that we're taking out. Over here is kind of a summary of everything they have. This is their payoff plan, and it's going to constantly show them real time. They're on track. Keep going. You're doing things great. It's very Skinnerian pigeon, Pavlovian dog. You do this, you get a piece of steak kind of thing. So we're constantly rewarding people for hitting certain benchmarks. This is the bill pay system. It's real time. It shows all their bills, when it's going to be paid, how much it's going to knock off of the principal or the interest. I mean, this is what everybody needs. Everybody is going to want all their stuff in one place. So there, some of the stuff's under the kitchen, in the kitchen table. Some of it's in the drawer. In the this is all in one place. Nobody has this. We're the only company that's going to offer this. If somebody wants to put in extra money towards their debt payment plan, it's going to show how they can accelerate it. Great recruiting tool. So let's say that Jocelyn's sitting with somebody, and they're looking at this, and we can get them out of debt in 18 years, and she just toggles this and says, if you had an extra $500 towards your debt payment plan, we can get you out of debt 11 years sooner. And by the way, if you just work with me and we can help one client a month, you can make that 500. I mean, the recruiting, it's the two things that people are freaking out about are health insurance and debt.
Yeah.
And we're launching the two best initiatives in those within the next couple months. All right. So on the credit and ID, I mean, how many heads rolled at Target? I mean, our cards were effective. We shopped at Target. I mean, it's so it's your credit score, but it's real time. And over here, it gives you coaching. If you just did this and you did this, you could increase your score. I mean, these are real. We're already using the product. There's people, it's not on the drawing board anymore. It's working, okay? But it's just working out the kinks. Like American Express cards, I learned this. The number on the front of an American Express card is different than the account number at American Express headquarters, which is different than the account number they use if you're doing something online. There's 3 different numbers.
Well, those are the kind of things you don't know until you start working, and I don't take this personally. Please don't get mad at me, but it's true. We got a third of India working on the program. Okay, it's unbelievable. So we keep overcoming these obstacles and reprogram. The last thing we want to do is roll this thing out and it doesn't work. But we're past that. It's working. In fact, a lot of us on the field working group, the reason the test that we've done isn't really valid is that we're not normal. So, I mean, when you got 22 people that get the product and there's no debt, it's kind of like, okay, what did we learn from that? Okay, so we're going to look for 100 people. Each of us are supposed to get 5 people from February 1st to the 17th that want the product that fit more of the profile. So we'll deal that in February. Okay, so let me now get you about the 5 things we talked about. One of the things is, okay, give me a plan for the next 90 days. You know, what should I be focused on? So that's what I want to hit now. This is directly from the president of the company, Glenn Williams. These are the 5 things that he's suggesting that everybody does in the first 90 days. So I'm going to suggest the same thing. So number 1 is revisit your family's financial game plan. Maybe you haven't called on auto and homeowners in 6 months. You did it 4 years ago. Maybe you haven't run your financial needs analysis in a while. Maybe you haven't relooked at your investments to see if you need to diversify more or bump it up. Maybe you have a child. I don't know what it is. But let's start off 2014 by rechecking ourselves as far as, okay, am I doing what I need to be doing? Number 2, build double-digit recruiting teams. For those of you that are looking for the secret, in a group this size, there's quite a few of you that would probably, what's the secret, Ken? Forget all this stuff, just what's the secret? Well, it's not really a secret, but the answer is massive amounts of recruiting in a short period of time. That's how you build a distribution company like your Primerica business. If you get 1 recruit a month for 12 months, at the end of 12 months, you will have nobody on your team. No, Ken, I'll have 12. No, they're gone. You have no synergy. You have no excitement. You have no credibility. You got nothing. But you get 10 recruits in 1 month. Where could that be in 10 months or 12 months? It could be hundreds. Compressed time frames. You might say, well, Ken, I'm not sure how to do that. What you do is you use that bonus, use that 3x3. You go get 2 or 3 directs and help build them up. Help them win. You do the numbers on that, you're at 10. So some of you, this is your goal this month. Like Mitch, who's online, Mitch is already at 5 this month out in Arizona. Some of you, this might be a goal by March. The latest that anybody sitting in this room or watching online should plan to be at 10 is by March. You're giving yourself a little bit of a ramp up January, February. That's critical if you're going to build a business. It's not about the French fries. It's about the franchise. See, you show me the best accounting firm, the best real estate firm, anything, they have the best recruiting. The Colts, you know, they get Andrew Luck or they get RG3. Okay, that's talking about the quality of your recruits. But what if you could recruit as many quarterbacks as you want? You could have 72 quarterbacks on the roster. You see, it doesn't matter. If you can have more people, the cream will rise to the top. You have no limit on your recruits. If the company said, we're not going to keep paying for all these PFSU classes, we're not going to keep paying all this comp, you can only recruit 10 people. We're going to limit you to 10. Then everybody starts getting really selective, and it would slow everything down. But they know that doesn't work. They're going to be like, look, you go recruit as many people as you want. My son, who's 19, like I said, he went to the leadership meeting with us, and he's been around the business ever since he was in diapers. But we walked out of there, and he's a very reserved, introverted child. He said, Dad, the people back in Indianapolis that get frustrated with their recruits, why don't they just go get new people? I said, thank you. Okay? All right. Hey, Ron, you done messed up, right? I'm just like, okay, so new recruit. Step 3, you have got to get phenomenal at the financial needs analysis and field training for your new greenies. How do you do that? You must get trained first and come to training and learn the business. This is not a wing it business. So the classes that Pat puts on, the classes that Andre is putting on and so on, don't just, well, I'll just go recruit a bunch of people and hope it all works out. That's a house of cards. That's not what I'm saying. Recruit and train. Next, qualify at your current level. Some of you have contract levels, and the production that you need to earn that contract originally, you are not doing consistently. I want to challenge you to be more consistent as a business owner. A roller coaster can make you throw up. A roller coaster in business can make you quit. Because most people get too high emotionally, and they get when things are going great, and they get too low when things are going. You've got to say, look, it's like a sextant if you're traveling out in the ocean. You find the North Star, and whether it's rocky or wavy or windy or calm, you know where you're going. So you've got to have your own personal family goals of where you're going, and this month's activity can't be, oh, this is awesome, this is great, and you have an entrepreneurial seizure, and you quit your job and come in full-time, you're not even life licensed. That's not an adult looking at this as a business. You've got to even out the emotion of the ride, and to do that, you've got to be more consistent. And competency brings consistency. And then get your next promotion. You should always know what your next promotion is. Always. Because most of our promotions are just 1 month. So as soon as you get one, what's the next one? And then here, you got to have a grow zone plan. What is it? What is it? What is your personal growth plan? Well, I want to get securities license. Great. Get in that cram course on January 17th, 18th, whatever that is. I want to get better at the kitchen table. Great. Come to Saturday morning trainings. And, whatever it happens to be that you want to work on, because not everybody in here needs to work on the same things. Some of you, a lot of you have come to me in the past and said, I need to get better as a public speaker. Great. So I'll give you some books. Don't be an octopus on roller skates where you've got all this activity going on but no plan or direction. It looks like you're doing a lot of things, but you really are just flapping your wings. So these are the things that Glenn talks about that you want to focus on. I want to direct your attention now to this board again over here. August 1st, 2nd, and 3rd, we are going to have the Team Unstoppable Convention in Cincinnati. We're not going to start marketing that till March, but I just want you to know that we're going to have a couple thousand people over in Cincinnati. Chris and Elizabeth Koob, who are our senior national sales directors, the name of their team is Team Unstoppable. That's why you hear us, say Unstoppable. Chris and his board of directors, which we're blessed to be part of, have laid out a plan for those of you that want to get to regional vice president in the next 5 to 6 months. And by a show of hands, don't put your hand up if that's not your goal, but how many of you, your goal is to get to regional vice president in the next 5 to 6 months? Let me see. All right. Okay, here's your plan. These aren't quotas. This is a plan, a strategy. And the term of the convention or the theme is going to be Climb a Mountain Together. So that's why we have that kind of motif. And those of you online, it's basically a board that shows a mountain range. January, you're going to want to write these down. January, 5 recruits. That's your first step, 5 team recruits. Now remember what the company's incenting this month? 5 team recruits. February, 5 recruits. They might say, wait a minute, Ken, if I did 5 in January, won't I do more in February? Probably. But February is a short month. We've been doing this for 20 years. If you can duplicate 5 in February, you're going to be right on track. So 5 recruits in January, 5 in February. In March, 10 recruits, double digit, and 5,000 in insurance production. Won't I be writing a bunch of production in January and February? Of course you will. I'm just showing you the track to get you to RVP. I want all of you doing more than that, of course, for you, but this is the track. 5 in January, 5 in February, then do 10 by 5 in March. And then if you look at April, you can take it up to 15 by 10, and then May, 15 by 10. So you're doing 2 months in a row of a total of 20,000. Now, what will that get you? In our hierarchy, that'll get you the regional vice president promotion contract, which is 110% plus bonuses. The company will give you 15,000 of PRI stock that you will get if you do that. And you'll get promoted at the convention in August. There should be a dozen of you or so that get that done. That's you're like, okay, what do I need to do? That's what you need to do. Now, you also need to be fully licensed during that time. You have to have your life license, your 6, your 63, and then if you can get your 26, which is the supervisory license, that's great, but it's not mandatory. That's it. Now, most of you in your current professions, you don't know what the heck you need to do to get a promotion. You're like, I don't know. I got to play golf, or I got to pucker up. I don't know, right? Right? You don't even know. I'm telling you exactly what you need to do in the time frame you need to do it. There it is, right there. Now, we need a halfway point. We need a halfway point. We can't go from now to the end of May and not check your progress. So we have a school, a business training school, once a quarter. This is kind of a different type. It's called a VisionCast. We're not at a hotel. We don't have all the recognition. We're not flying in a speaker. This was more of a State of the Union. Our next event is going to be the halfway point benchmark. So let's take a look at the next event we're going to do. It's called the Indie Builder School. Now, this is not just going to be the Preston team. This is all of Indiana, all of Kentucky, and quite a bit of Ohio coming. It's April 11th and 12th. We're going to do a 2-day event. It's a Friday, Saturday. It's going to be at the Renaissance, which is where we had John Addison, for those of you that were out for the meeting we had in November with the CEO. Our guest speaker is Collis Temple. Collis went to LSU, played basketball there, was drafted by the Detroit Pistons. I think he was an All-American. I could be wrong on that. But anyway, his brother plays, I think, for the Celtics. But as he was running stairs in the Detroit Stadium, working out, blew out his ankle. And he tells the story, you know, I heard it and I felt I was done. 6 hours later, he was having lunch with a guy named Bill Whittle, who's phenomenal, and started in the business. Collis makes about $600,000 a year. He's been in the business 10 years as a master's, very articulate, very driven. He and his wife are dear friends of ours. Now, we're doing the tickets totally different. In the past, we give the tickets to the RVPs and the managers. They'd collect the money. We give the tickets. We have moved into the high-tech world. So what you do is you go to this link, IndieLeadershipSchool.com. I did it this morning, and you just buy your tickets, and you print them off, or you put them on your phone, like when you go through the airport, you just have it on your phone. The tickets are $20. That's going to pay for both sessions. There's a full-timers meeting on Friday. Then there's an evening session. Then we have a party cash bar that night. Then there's a morning session, and there's a lunch that you can get there. It's like a $15 buffet. And then there's an afternoon session. It's a 2-day. You do not have to stay at the hotel. Of course, it's right here in town. But some of you that want to kind of just get your head and get in a bubble, there it is. So this just went up today. You can start getting your tickets. The type of recognition that we'll be doing at this event will be these types of things. We have an example of it right over there. This isn't a certificate, okay, or a T-shirt. I mean, a lot of the $20 goes to that recognition. So we're going to put it out there, and it's going to be every level, every category. I don't think I have the list, but like reps will be competing against reps in securities, licensing, and premium. Okay? I mean, it's going to be like the top 10 are going to get recognized in every category. So it's a way for us to see who's on track, who's playing, but visualize the moment. Think about it. We're at the Renaissance. You're coming in, and you've got it. This is 90 days from now, and you've got a team of 14 people that are there sitting with you. You're looking left, you're looking right. These are people on your team, and they're fired up. That's what you got to get geeked about. So that's your opportunity between now. We're going to see who in the next 90 days wants to play and who wants to start separating themselves. So that's what that's about. Okay, now okay. The last speaker today, and by the way, Chase, we're not going to do Whittle. I'm just going to put reference people and go see that. But the last speaker today, I wanted to talk to you about the big money. Now, I didn't want to start today by talking about big money because I didn't want the message and sometimes the first thing you hear is what you think the company's all about. And I didn't want to show you the really big compensation to start with. But let me be brutally frank and transparent with you. I did not come here for the crusade. I did not come here for the technology. I did not come here for the trinkets and the trips. I came here to get stone bleeping wealthy, which I've been able to do. If they stopped paying me, I would be out of here. Okay? I am building a business and have built a business for my family to get free. You need to understand the big, big, stupid money that's available for those of us to go pay a price. because the purpose has to overcome the pain. So to show you from the very lowest contract levels up through the highest contract levels how you make the big money, I'm going to bring up our next speaker. But before I do that, let me just, when we have people go through this, I have brand new people have two reactions. One is there's no way there's people making that much money. And we start showing you that we have 63 people that make $1 million. Well, you're an idiot. Okay, just go. You're saying that because there's like 2 people at your company that make 75 grand a year, and you're like you're hanging with chicken hawks. Go Google what company has the most 6-figure earners. Number 2 is Microsoft. Number 1 is Primera. All right. I mean, we're a public company. We could not report those numbers if they weren't true. Okay. The second thing I get when we start showing the comp is I get people that don't understand business and structure start saying, well, that looks like a pyramid. And if you haven't gotten that objection yet, you haven't talked to enough people. Because employees, people that are employees, we're all God's children, but people that are employees have this box around their head like, well, I shouldn't make money off of other people's efforts. I mean, that just sounds icky. And those are the same people that are making like $12 an hour. You're either getting recruited or being recruited. My church recruited me. The Optimist Club recruited me. I got recruited. I showed up for a Boy Scout meeting with my son when he was in 2nd grade. I ended up being the damn troop leader. I hated it. Okay? Nobody wanted to do it. So if I ask you, draw out your company, what does your company look like? Matt, did you steal that marker? No. Draw out your company. This was my company. Superintendent of the school system. 3 assistant superintendents, which didn't do squat, by the way. Then we had 7 to 10 building principals. Then we had about 30 assistant principals. Then we had about 90 department heads. And then we had about, in our school, the middle schools, we had 210 teachers. And then from there, we had 3,000 students.
But that's a pyramid.
And from those students, those 3,000 students, how many families does that represent? Well, that's a pyramid, Ken. Lawrence Township School Systems is a pyramid. You're a freaking idiot. Mark Cuban was at IU when my brother was there. They're acquaintances. Or you can look at Scott Jones, invented voicemail, owns Cha-Cha. I coached this kid in basketball. He never did. You talk to business owners, and they're like, everything's about recruiting. Scott was opening up Cha-Cha for Britain when I was coaching his son, and he sent a bunch of people over there to try and get it going. And he was trying to build distribution and all that. I mean, that's what wealthy people do. Broke people process business. Wealthy people develop companies. The person that's the furthest away from the client makes the most money. What? Okay. Let's do McDonald's. If you work at a McDonald's at the counter, may I help you? Yeah, I'd like a number 3. Medium, small, medium, or large. That's a job, but what are you getting paid for doing it? $7.50? Okay. You're the shift manager. So you're over here making sure that people are asking about, you want fries with that? So you're one step removed. Are you making more than $7.50? A little bit. Okay. You're the manager of the restaurant. You might occasionally be on the front counter helping people when it's crowded, but not usually. You're just helping to run the business. You're making, what, $30,000, $40,000 a year as a manager? Okay, you own, like my friend Mr. Moore owns the one right there at Fisher's. Okay, I saw him last night when Park Tudor kicked our butts at Heritage. Trevin Blewett's the real deal, man. First play of the game, Slam dunk. Okay, so anyway, he owns a couple McDonald's. He's making 7 figures. Doesn't even go into his stores. Does it stop there? No. How about McDonald's Corporation in Oak Brook? See, the people flying from Oak Brook to New York and having conversations aren't having the following conversation. Did you drop those fries? I hear it beeping. That's not the conversation they're having. They're talking about, do we think we want to go into Western China yet? What conversations are you having? See, what I want you to understand is you want to become a senior national sales director that has offices across the country. And what you focus on grows. If you focus on dropping the fries, you're going to keep dropping the fries. Now, you might have to drop the fries for a while to learn how to manage the person dropping the fries, to learn how to manage the restaurant, to learn how to own multiple restaurants, but don't stay there. Don't stay there. Get to where you're waking up every day. I mean, Chris Koob, just in the last quarter, was paid close to $400,000 in stock in 90 days, plus on top of the $130,000 he makes a month. He didn't get there because he wanted to become the fry dropper. So that's a hell of an introduction, Andre. We're going to go 10 minutes over because I'm going to give Andre 20 minutes because I wanted to show you the money. I want you to understand this is a business. We have fun. We have trips. This is a business. Our competition is franchises, sole proprietorships, jobs. So you need to be able to match your efforts that you're going to put in here up with what we got to offer to say, can I get free here? So with that, Mr. Ho, come on up, buddy.
How's everybody feeling? Good. Don't go to sleep on me. I got some good stuff I want to share with you all. Plus, I got Chase working on an image for me. But I'm so fired up about the next 12 months, the next 12 years. I mean, just the legacy I think all of us are going to leave for our family. It's good. Don't worry about it. I got something I thought was so unique. I sent it to Chase, and I just sent it to him. I just found it. But turn to your neighbor, tap that person, tell them, leave no doubt. Leave no doubt. 2014. Okay, so 2014, man, we're ready to just do something special. I look at this business, and the first thing, I was rereading The Purpose-Driven Life, in the first chapter. Has anybody ever read that book? Okay. And the first chapter says you are not an accident. Okay. Also read a book by Tommy Newberry that says success is not an accident. And what I want to suggest to you is what's going to happen for many of us in our business and just, in our lives and our children's businesses is not an accident. Okay. Let me show you. Where's the clicker at? Okay. Okay. Let me show you what's not an accident. Okay. Go back. Okay. Okay. Can y'all see this? Okay. This was a picture that NASA caught through its telescope. They call it the hand of God. Okay. This is literally a picture that was caught by a telescope from NASA, and you can see the fingers and all of that, right? You know what happened to create that? They said some stars collided and exploded. And then the hand of God kind of appeared. And that got me so excited because I started thinking about how the stars have aligned for Primerica and then kind of how God's hand is on us. And I'm going to show you some stuff that's going to really explode your business if you do that. But it blew me away to see there are a lot of times people don't have belief. Okay, and these are scientists that said that kind of looks like the hand of God. Okay, I'm not real sure. I've never seen the hand of God, but I think this is the hand. That's what folks at NASA said, and they're all about science, right? Okay, so I want to talk to you about some things, and I'm going to cover this here in a second. But let's just say it's about physics. I'm going to show you how to explode your business, Primerica,
to RBP through physics. Okay, my background's in engineering. I choose not to do this very often because it reminds me of what I don't feel like going back to. Okay, but force equals mass times acceleration. Is that true? Okay, it's interesting that momentum's formula is very similar. It's mass times velocity, which to us is about the same. Okay, but if you can't have force or impact without having critical mass going at a rapid speed. Okay, in Primerica, what happens is people don't get stuff going. And if they do get a little bit, they don't do it consistently. They do it over a long period of time, which is what Kent was talking about. And you never have an impact because you can't create momentum and you can't create speed. How many appointments are you setting a day? How many new associates? Double-digit recruiting starts momentum. That's mass. Okay? The question is, how often do you do it? That's acceleration. Okay? So many people do a little bit here, then they stop, then they do a little bit here, then they stop. You cannot create momentum doing that. But the company has given us a gift that's going to allow us to create not only force and momentum, but this is the last thing I want you to think about on the physics piece is what's called geometric progression. So we haven't talked about this in a while. Geometric progression is when a number is multiplied by itself. This is how most companies grow. They add, then they subtract, then they divide. Okay? They add people, they get rid of a few people, and then they divide people to make some feel more special than others. Would y'all agree with that? Yeah. Okay? That's how most corporations grow in the pyramid system. You're much better than these people down here. What's the likelihood that these people down here can ever be these people up here? So when people talk about pyramid, I don't really, it doesn't even bother me anymore because you don't understand how that business works. I want you to be a vice president. See, if I really wanted a pyramid, I would just keep you where you at. Does that make sense? I mean, we're going to show you exactly how to do it. The money that I'm going to show you is for you. See, Kent has been here, he's paid his dues, and God bless him for what he's been able to do. But he's doing this, and we're doing this as leaders to show you can do the same thing 20 years later. You understand that most times 20 years later, the opportunity, you done missed that? That's not for you anymore. Okay, that's what State Farm just said. You come in now, you don't get that anymore. So we got to look at it and say, man, is this opportunity really this good? So I want you to ask yourself a question as we go through. I just want you to say, ask yourself, is it possible? That's all I want you to ask yourself. I don't want you to get too caught up on the detail. Just, is it, what I'm going to show you, is this possible? Okay? Scripturally say all things are possible. But we ain't going to talk about that. Okay? We're just going to just keep it. Is it possible is what I want you to think about. So there's three things I want to show you. I'm going to show you why it's going to happen. We just saw the hand of God. It's like literally, I mean, we could talk about how we got free and out under Citigroup and all that, and that story will blow your mind. We're going to talk about why it's going to happen, how it's going to happen. I'm going to show you how it's going to happen, and then I want you to ask yourself, who could this happen for? See, I get excited about 2014. I'm going to show you where I believe our business could be. But I got to believe that first. So do you believe that you can do what I'm going to show you? That's on you. Okay, I'm not trying to tell you to believe it or not believe it, but until it's an inside job. If you don't get that person together, then, you know, there ain't a whole lot anybody else can do for you. So let's look at a front-end system. When I came into the business, it was the conversation was always, well, I just want to wait till I get my license. Y'all remember that? Those of us been around for a while. I mean, you could never get people out of the field because they felt like you was taking something from them. Okay? Now they fixed that. Okay? Geometric progression. I want you to remember that word because I'm going to show you this in a second. This new front-end system is the best front-end system I've ever seen in my business. Okay? I've never seen a front-end system that would motivate somebody outside of Primerica as good as this would. If you use it correctly. But you got to run the play, okay? Acceleration, you got to keep this thing going. You can't do it one time, hope you got a superstar, and that's just how your business is going to go. It don't work like that. You get the geometric progression
progression if you do it correctly. So the 3x3 bonus says we're going to leave it $300 off. Okay, let's not even talk about that because that's really not the sauce of the system. Okay, 30 days, you hire me into the business. I get 30 days to get this done. 3x3. You hire me on the 1st of January, February 1st, I got to have that completed. I love the fact that they did that. It's a fast start bonus. Okay? It's not a, if you want to get it going later, fast start bonus. Okay? It's the fast start. Okay? It's 30 days in a month. That's a fast start, right? So now they're going to give me 60 days, though, to complete PFSU. But you only get 30 days to do this. Are y'all catching that? You don't get 60 days to do both. You get 30 days to do this, or you forfeit the right to be on the fast track. After I complete the PFSU, they're going to give me $100. One new associate, one life training application, which means observation, which means the manager took me out in the field. I observed the life app being closed, and because of that, I was able to get credit for an observation. It's not you took me out in the field, we just sat down with somebody, but we didn't close business. Does that make sense? Okay, that's a qualified training appointment. I do that, company gives me $100. We never had that before. That I can just sit and watch you, which you're the more skilled. I really shouldn't be getting paid if I don't know what I'm doing anyway. That's my personal opinion. So I'm gonna get my skill set up so I can be compensated accordingly. But you're gonna allow me to observe you doing that, and I'm gonna get paid? That's incredible. 2x2, 2 more recruits, 2 more apps. They're gonna give you 90 days to get the life exam passed. Okay? Total. Not 30 plus 90. Y'all catching me? But how long do I get to do this? 30 days. I don't get 90 days to do both. Okay, this is a fast start bonus. Okay? So 90 days, they give you another $200. But let me tell you what I'm going to really get because I did this. It's not really the $300 because that attracts the wrong type of person. $300 would not have brought me to GE on my worst day. Okay? And I had a lot of worse days. Okay? I know that's not grammatically correct. Anyway, okay? I had some bad days at GE, right? But this is what you're going to get. I'm a new person. I got 3 new associates. That's a big deal because a recruit's not a recruit until they get a recruit. The best thing you can do for me is to give me an associate that I can start doing the same thing with. But you got me 3, didn't you? Plus, I learned the business, and I'm seeing the business because I went on 3 training observations. I think that's huge. But what else did I get because to make sure I qualify for all of this? What did I get right here? A license. How many people are going past 30 days, past 60 days, some even past 90 days and not getting licensed? It's really helping their business, helping your business. Their confidence is going to be higher. Promotions are going to go through the roof. Right? And, oh, by the way, they're going to make some money too. You know when you open a McDonald's, that, like Ken said, you literally don't make a lot of money for a long period of time because the bills are coming, the employees got to be paid, but as a business owner, you're like, okay, hey, I'm cool with that. I know I'm going to have to sacrifice a little bit to get the big deal, okay? I want to attract the right type of people. But also what happens for the managers, now you got a licensed rep. Their confidence is high. They're recruiting, okay? They're building their business. So let me show you how geometric progression, how 3 can equal 243. Okay? Somebody got a calculator? I want you to do something for me. I want you to follow the system that everybody complains about, the pyramid over here. You're going to recruit 3 people. What's your name, sir? Jason. Jason recruits 3 people. He's going to show his 3 people how to do what? 3 by 3. It's just a simple formula. Okay? Why wouldn't he want the same for his teammates that he just had? Right? I mean, if he's a great leader, which I'm sure he is, he's going to show his people how to get 3. So I want you to take 3 times 3. Okay? Times 3. Times 3. Times 3. What's that? You take that times 5, 243. 240.
Now, I got 200. How fast could we do that? Okay? If I got 243 recruits, how many life apps have I done?
A lot.
So at least 243. Okay? Maybe you take referrals, that just makes my head, I don't feel like doing all that. So 243 life apps, 243 recruits. That's geometric progression. But if you're going to have force, how fast you going to do that? You want impact? How fast you going to do it? Right? I look at this compensation. Look at what the company gave us. Vice presidents, we used to get paid 95%. You can only give 100% and they pay you 110. Is that incredible? People say do 110. You can't do 110. You can only do 100. Okay, but they're gonna pay you 110%. The override for you. Jimmy 2, you got 110%. He's getting a new rep. I just showed you the 3x3x3, right? These 25%. They write the app, they get 25%. They get a chance to increase their comp if they want to by getting promoted. He's getting an 85% override on that. How many of you want to be a VP? You do that. How many people would like to have 243 people that you override like that? Licensed. You understand? You don't get overrides on recruits. You don't get comp on recruits. You get overrides on licensed producing recruits. Okay, there's a big difference. Recruiting a person and signing an app, that's just an IBA. I want licensed producing recruits. Okay, the compensation is going up. Even to your regional leaders, you're getting 40%. This is the first level that you stop getting paid more than the people who wrote the app. Ain't that interesting? I mean, the second level. So district, here, everybody above them, they write apps, you get paid more. Why would you want to keep repeating that? Okay? I'm going to skip this here. This is bonuses, but when you get the VP, 10%, you need to be doing $10,000 base. I'm looking at 20 by 20 minimum. Okay? I told Kent what our focus is and our commitment is we running that play of getting 3 by 3. Okay? Now, I don't know how all the numbers are going to work out, but he can count on us the first quarter, we coming out the gates. Okay? I don't know who else going to play with it, but this comp right here, I've never seen anything like that. I was showing my wife. I was like, this is incredible. Okay? I can do a $10,000 base and then get paid another 10% on top of that. Right? But, oh, by the way, if you don't do a 10 and you got VPs, you don't get nothing. Start losing money now. So you forfeiting cash. That just doesn't make sense to do that. So let's talk about becoming an RVP before I wrap up here with a couple of ideas. Hand of God is on it. The stars have already aligned. Matter of fact, they've already collided. Like the deal is already happening. Okay, do you understand what I'm saying? If these stars align and collide in about 100 years, this thing will create this. It's already done. So now, those of you who stay below RVP are forfeiting cash flow. See, the trip, you should win the trip because it's part of your compensation. You all understand, like the company has already figured that number out. They just ain't putting no names on the airline tickets. Like it's already paid for. We're going to go to Hawaii. I'm so excited about that. We're taking our daughters. I sent my daughters, by the way, in July. I got a 7 and 5-year-old. I sent them a postcard that said, Daddy's working real hard so we can go to Hawaii in February. Okay? Now, I had to win the trip. They didn't just say, hey, I'm in, but I wanted them to see that hard work pays. Okay? Most people, when they start doing illegal activities and all the stuff we see happening in the community, what they see is people work hard, but they broke. So they attach that hard work don't pay. I want my kids to see that hard work pays. I wanted so my kids, maybe you enjoy this, kid, that my daughter, Prime America. That's my dad's business, Prime America. Like, that gets me fired up. I'm gonna run your business, Daddy. I got one is like a humanitarian, one is just all about herself. Okay, my Manhattan, Louis Vuitton girl probably, but it's all good. They'll be able to do what they can, what they want to. So you go out as a regional leader doing 20,000. So we got to get away from. See, when we went out, okay, this is what I told Ken. You take whoever you want. Okay, he already knew that you could count on us, number one, but you take whoever you want. You help me, I help you. But I also knew that I get to take forever, too.
That's a beautiful system. Leave you something so your business don't fall apart, and then I can continue to grow mine. You're an RV, you're a regional, you should be doing 20 grand. You give up 10, you keep 10 with you. Doesn't that sound kind of healthy? I just told you get 10% if you're doing 10,000, so you're maxing out compensation, right? So let's look at and say, and this is the part that got me fired up. Because, see, it's just numbers. When I came back to it, it don't matter how you slice it and what you ain't happening and all of that. All of us can have a pity party. But 8531 is the ATM PIN code. Okay? You understand what I'm saying? You want the PIN code to the ATM and get all the money? 8531 is what the numbers are. If you ain't running that, you ain't maxing out. Okay? That's just what it comes down to. That's how you get the 10 by 10. You do 3 apps a week, 12 apps a month, average being, 850, that's 10,000 in production. Just numbers. So here you're an RVP because you kept 10, but you kept working. You want to do 5 of the 10 yourself. You got one direct division who's doing 2,500. That probably means they're doing 8531 every 30 days. Not every week. Okay, y'all catching what I'm saying? I'm on 8 appointments in 30 days. Then I got one direct district who does the same thing. Pays you $100,000. Is that incredible? Okay, I didn't sleep. I literally can't. The reason why I told Ken I want to show you, I didn't sleep for like a day and a half. I kept waking up like, this is unacceptable. I just went back to my computer. I said, this is really unacceptable. Let's get this and get people doing it. RVP doing a 20. You want to go do some bigger numbers? Let's look at this. You still need to be working. Now, Kent's back in the game, but I know Kent, okay? I really have never seen Kent write an app, but he still makes $1 gazillion, okay? I'm not convinced he's probably going to keep doing that. Those in his base, don't go for it, okay? He's on the sunset side, okay? He's going to make $1 million, and he ain't going to write 20 grand. So, which I love that. That sold me the dream back in the day. But for those of us who ain't there, we need to be doing 5 grand. How you get outproduced by your team. My teammates know I've never been outproduced 2 months in a row. Okay, and until I get to a level where I feel comfortable enough, I don't take pride in my team doing all these numbers, and I ain't doing it too. When I get to the point where I got millions of dollars saved and I've done all of that, and then I'll say, hey, look at my people. All right, but we need to keep running. Direct division, 1 regional. Now, that regional is getting ready to start their RVP run in the next couple months. Y'all following that? Okay? So now you want to make 200 grand, 20,000, you got 1 RVP. Okay? For every RVP that you promote that's doing 10 and pays you $50,000 a year. Okay? How many of those apps you going to write? 0. Okay? How much of the training are you going to have to do for your first generation RVP? 0. That's $50,000. See, we talked about 50 grand waking up, that's 50 grand right out the gates, plus what you're doing. You can see the same thing here, and I don't want this to confuse you, but I want you to see this first generation RVP is doing what you did. So you can't expect somebody to do what you won't do. If you went out, they gave up a replacement, they got 10,000, they keep doing. I got 1 regional doing 5, 1 division doing 5, and we're talking about helping maybe 4 or 5 people a month. See, we make this thing way too hard. It's really not that hard. When you see people's cash flows jumping, they're just running 8531 more consistently, and they got more people doing it. If we start with the 3x3, I can get you running 8531. Even if you did that every 30 days, I want 243 people running 8531 every 30 days. You think you can make $1 million if you had that? See, we're trying to do more with less. You can't do that. You got to run the numbers. It fires me up. So now you focus on getting the SPP. You focus on 200 grand. I'm going to bump my base by June to over 40,000. We might hit it before that. My commitment is by June, I'm going to be running a 20 by 20 consistently. By June, we're going over 40 because there's more money. Company pays out $1 million and some change every day. Did y'all know that? That's how we get over $500,000, like almost $1.5 million in comp every single day. How many of those checks got your name on it? You know what they're going to pay out on Monday? $1.5 million.
Guess what they're going to do on Tuesday? What you think they're going to do on Wednesday? So when you tell me like you ain't got paid in 30 days, the company pays checks every day. No, you've never worked for a company that pays checks every day. They got you on a 2-week allowance. Okay? And it ain't even guaranteed because tomorrow we might say it's a wrap.
Right. Yeah.
You get the last little piece of the check, but you won't get another one. Okay? $250. You start focusing on our ownership. $300,000 gets you full ownership. That is my commitment to my family. You understand? If I drive down the street and I get hit by a bus, I don't have full ownership. That don't get me fired up. Okay? If you ain't even RVP, like, what you doing this for? You can do stuff that's a lot easier than building a business. It won't pay you anything. But if you ain't going to put it all on the line, why go through the motions? Just go do something else. Right? 300 grand. I get excited about this. This is a little busy slide, but let me show you. Now I got 3 first generations doing 10,000. This is big thinking right here, but it all starts with the 3x3. You catch what I'm saying? You keep doing that, people will get to 10x10 and 20x20 and all that. I'm doing 50,000 through first. 20,000 of it is my own base shop. But then I got 3 direct RVPs. You see, I ain't talking about districts no more. This is what Kent talks about, is direct RVPs. He understands this distribution. Okay, at some point you get out of base shop business, you get in the hierarchy business. I got 3 direct RVPs that are doing 10, and that's paying me 300 grand. What if I took my business from a 20 to a $30,000 base shop, which we talk about maybe 8 more clients a month in your office, and then I help my first generation get to where they go from 10 to 15. Are y'all following what I'm saying? Yeah. It pays me $125,000 more. So let's say this is 5 clients, 5 clients, 5 clients, that's 15. Then I got 10. We're basically doing 25, 30 more clients a month, and my hierarchy, I get paid another $125,000. 3 by 3 by 3. Y'all catching what I'm saying? Numbers start to go up. So where Kent's on track for, but all of us who are RVPs need to be focused on that. Like, this ain't unattainable. With the 3 by 3, it's not unattainable. Before, geometric progression didn't really work in our favor. Does that make sense? People stagnant, ain't moving. $1 million earners. Again, this just gets crazy. There's 63 people who make $1 million. Do y'all know who they are? Okay, ain't that interesting? That you can make $1 million, nobody know who you are. If you make $1 million at your company, everybody knows you got like preferential seating. You know what I mean? You got an office that can't know. When I worked at Lilly, you couldn't even get to the 12th floor of Building 74, which is where all the big wigs were. If you came up there, right, you better be cleaning an office or you were going to be escorted. How did you get up here? Would be a question. That's like Fort Knox locked down. Them people make too much money for us to hang out with them. Okay? Here you can make $1 million and then you go on a trip and you can talk to them. Or you can be a millionaire and be right in the office and you can go talk to them. Isn't that an amazing company? So let me finish with this right here. Okay? So I'm going to give you all a mindset that you can't quit. Okay? We got to win. Does that make sense? We got 3 by 3, got RVP, got a whole bunch of stuff that rhymes. Okay? So, but I want you, when I say did he quit, you're going to say he didn't quit. Y'all follow me? Abraham Lincoln. Has anybody ever heard of Abraham Lincoln? What do you know him for? President of the United States. But let me tell you what happened to him. In 1832, he lost his job. He was defeated for state legislator. Did he quit? No. 1833, he failed in business. Did he quit? In 1835, his sweetheart died. Did he quit? In 1836, he had a nervous breakdown. Did he quit? In 1838, he was defeated for speaker. Did he quit? In 1843, he was defeated for nomination for Congress. Did he quit? In 1848, he lost his renomination. Did he quit? In 1849, he was rejected for land officer. Did he quit?
He didn't quit.
In 1854, he was defeated for U.S. Senate. Did he quit?
He didn't quit.
In 1856, he was defeated for the nomination for vice president. Did he quit?
He didn't quit.
In 1858, he was again defeated for the U.S. Senate. Did he quit?
He didn't quit.
And because he didn't quit, in 1860, he was elected president. Okay? Question is, you know, are you going to quit? All right, we got to make this thing happen 2014. Back to Ken.
So there are 5 things we want to accomplish today. Latest news from the company. I mean, we've given you a ton of information. Next steps for your business. Okay, next 90 days, that plan on the wall. Celebrate success. You saw a lot of promotions, a lot of people getting some things done in Engage 90. We shared how impacting lives, some of the stories of how we're impacting lives. And then what is your game plan and challenging you the next 90 days. So we're done. Appreciate you guys staying a little bit after. We will see you all late April 11th and 12th at the Renaissance. That's the next time we're all getting together as a group. Some of the RVPs are trying to have real quick team meetings before you get out of here. If they're doing that, that's great. But again, give yourselves a hand for being here. Okay, everybody in the front row, I got a ticket for you. Get here. You're here in the front row. Oh, you don't need to pay. Front rowers always get something. You're in the front row, just one down. You can wear this for the picture. There you go. What's up, buddy? Get him. I'm gonna put him here. What's your name? They are out.
You got it right.
All right. So how can I correct
Here you go in there, and while they're having to you're right. That's what
you come by the house with me.
Are you going to do that?